looking? How are we looking? Okay, cool. We're on. Nice. Cool. There we go. How are we looking? Is anybody watching? Let's have a look. Do we have any viewers? I don't expect many. No, we have three. Okay, we had 4 watching. That's gone down to 3 watching. Okay, absolutely cool. Brilliant. We're on. That's a good start. If anyone's actively watching, comment yes. Okay, so we got Anthony. Brilliant. Okay, cool. I don't expect many. That's what we're after. Does everyone like my stream setup? This took about 10 minutes to put together. Very amateur, but you know, we're here. That's a good start. If anyone's actively watching, comment. Hello, yes, we've got a couple of people here, and that's all that really counts. That's what we're after. Yeah. Does everyone like my stream setup? This took about 10 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get too many more people, so we're going to start with the main discussion just yet. If anyone's actively watching. But okay, hello, what is the point of this stream? We are going to be doing a bit of channel update, channel discussion. Yeah. Because we're at a. I don't know if we're going to get. I'm curious what kind of content people are going to want to start seeing on the channel. So I'm hopefully we're going to work out what people kind of want to see. If that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Excuse the facial hair. This is getting shaved off later today. I just haven't had time to get rid of the goatee at the moment. Can everyone hear this all right? What's my mic looking like? What people kind of want to see. Probably loud enough. I imagine so. Excuse the facial hair. This is getting shaved off later today. I just haven't had. There's an echo. That is great. Let's move this mic so it's a bit. Obviously, I haven't got any of my nice audio editing I do to make my voice sound a little bit better for videos. This is just raw off my mic that I don't know how to use, but hopefully that changes it a little bit. Probably. If not, you're just gonna have to deal with it. And you know, my stream. That's what we're gonna have to do. So, for all the people here, would you mind commenting what videos you subscribe to the channel for? Because I know I cover quite a range of series, so I know I have a lot of viewers who watch one type of video and not the others. So there'd be like no point me talking about like Medaka Books videos if nobody here watches them, if that makes sense. Cool. It seems to be better. Brilliant stuff. What's planned for the future of the channel? A lot of the same, but I do want to, like, the current state of the channel is, well, it's still going to be analysis type videos. We're not changing the format that much, but obviously the main series the channel covers are, we've got Monogatari content, Medaka Box, I guess Chainsaw Man is one of the bigger ones. What else? Like, we also do. We do a bit of Record Ragnarok content, that's blown off a bit, and a bit of Baki content. And technically Gintama content, but obviously there hasn't been a Gintama video in months, a long old time, which we will discuss later on, the state of the Gintama videos on this channel. But okay, so it seems like people, Monogatari, Medaka Box, Chainsaw Man. Great, excellent. Well, thank you for watching the Chainsaw Man stuff, because nobody watches them. Like, I did a poll on the channel asking if you guys wanted to watch Chainsaw Man videos. You all said yes, and then yeah, nobody watches them, which is a shame. But it does seem like the majority of people here are Monogatari fans, which is great. Yeah, it's alright, thanks. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Monogatari, yeah, great thing. In terms of the Monogatari stuff going forwards, a lot of the same, really. There's not too much changing with that. Monogatari gives... I enjoy it. Obviously, we're going through the arc analysis videos at the moment. I'm currently writing the final of the Baki Monogatari ones. I've finally done the analysis for the ending, which is... So it's somewhat interesting because there is a lot of stuff a lot of symbolism you can pull out of it. But then the Supercell, specifically... I can't remember which member of Supercell wrote it, but whoever wrote the song specifically came out and said it isn't based on Monogatari. Like, it's just not. So any symbolism you draw there probably wasn't intended. So we've got more Monogatari. Oh, we've got Mr. Sputton here. Absolute Chad hates Musubi Monogatari of a passion. We are going to be talking about Musubi Monogatari in a bit because there is mainly a video on that we will be coming to the channel. So yeah, so with the Bakemonogatari arc analysis. That's in the works. I was trying to aim for next Monday, but it's barely written at the moment, so that's probably going to be the week after, if not a bit longer. It's probably going to be quite a long video because there's a lot to talk about, and as you all know, I love repeating myself in videos, and none of my videos are concise even when they should be. Honestly, the amount of comments I get saying, you ramble and say the same things over and over. Yeah, I do. So that's why these videos are long. But anyway, so after that's done, we got the Kizumonogatari arc analysis, or I guess technically the Komi Vamp one. That's going to be that's got to be over an hour long. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of panty symbolism, and you guys will know how much I like talking about panties. Unless you're not one of the Monogatari fans and you have no idea what I'm going on about. If it doesn't sound right or am I talking too fast, just comment. I don't stream much, as you can probably tell. But this is easy in doing a community post. So yes, that's the Monogatari stuff, basically. So the back end video should be out soonish. Then I'm not sure about Kizu, probably a month or two away, just because of how long it's going to be. And obviously we've done all the character analysis at this point. Now, someone did comment earlier today on I think it was on the Record Ragnarok video, but they were asking about off-season or monster season videos. Now, my issue of making content on either of them is that I feel the majority of people haven't read them and they just want me to make videos so they know what happens. And I don't know, I don't like making explainer recap videos. I did the Odyssey Explain video, and although it was alright, I did enjoy making it because it's just not the content I like making. And I also don't want to act as a substitute for people to, you know, just not read the off-season and monster season, which I feel people might do. So, you know, that's the kind of thing. But what I do want to do is I do want to make a Musubi Monogatari video. And it's specifically on... There's one... I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry. But there's a part of Musubi Monogatari which I think it's the main reason a lot of people, especially someone in this stream, really hates about it. And it the way it's presented, it almost feels like Nishiishin's kind of telling... It's like he's calling the audience stupid for getting invested in the rest of the story and kind of saying, like, it doesn't matter. And I think it's one of those things where, in execution, it's not the best, but I think the idea behind it is very cool, and I think it was very brave of Nishiishin to attempt to do... It's kind of hard to say it without, you know, saying what it is, but I don't want to spoil. But I don't think it's executed well at all, so, you know, that's something. But I want to make a video discussing that, because I think that's one of the main reasons people do not like Musubi Monogatari. So that's an off-season video that I've been wanting to make for a while, and I probably will make a video on that. So in terms of, Monogatari videos, we've got the arc analysis. Even if I don't really get the views, I really enjoy making them. And then also the Musubi video. There's not much more I want to do. Obviously, after I finished the character analysis, I did a few smaller topic videos, like how parents are represented in Bakke, or the use of how justice is explored in Nisei. But I don't really feel there's much point in doing those kind of videos, because I'm just going to cover it all in the arc analysis anyway, which kind of does raise the problem. Once I've done all the arc series, however many years that takes, is that there's not really any other Monogatari videos left to make, because I would have done all the characters and all the arcs, and that kind of covers like everything about the series. So there's not much more Monogatari apart from those things that we're going to be doing. But I'm looking forward to finishing off the Bakke arc stuff, because like Bakke is my favourite part. I think it's the best part, but I want to talk about the other stuff, especially Kizu, because I'd say Kizu is... I think as its own separate story, it's probably the strongest in Monogatari, apart from Bakke. Like, it's one coherent story, even if it has an open-ended ending, it being a prequel and all, but I think it's a very solid thing. So the Kizu video should be quite good. Oda Cockmuncher, that is a username. Your content is more insightful than most of the AniTube. I think you should try to cover more popular series to gain audience. That is something we're going to talk about later in the stream, about other series to potentially cover. So thanks for bringing that to our attention, but that is something we will be discussing in a bit. So yeah, that's the Monogatari scene. I've seen a few people here like Medaka Box. So for Medaka Box, yeah, this is a good time to ask people, because with Medaka Box, I've done very similar to Monogatari, where I've done quite a few character analysis videos so far. I'm kind of running out of characters to do. I desperately need to do Kikijima. I just don't think anyone will watch it. And I need to do a Surabame one, both Surabame Senior and Surabame like Junior, like Barmy. They all need videos. There's a couple other characters, like some of the other 13 party I could do videos on, some of the not equals, some of the style users. Like, there's plenty of characters to do, but recently with the Hanton video, I think that still came out pretty well, but I feel I was stretching a lot in that video because he doesn't do much. That's a lot of Medaka Box. Oh, we got a cat cameo there. A lot of Medaka Box content, Medaka Box characters, sorry, don't have too much depth to them. So, so I'm thinking of maybe doing arc analysis for Medaka Box in the same vein as the Monogatari ones. I don't know how people feel about that. Because I feel that way I can cover a lot of the more overarching themes in Medaka Box that I want to talk about. Because I feel whenever I do Medaka Box videos, I feel I always just start talking about either the theme of what's it called? Everyone's human no matter what. I think I say that way too much in Medaka Box videos. And the ideas of people playing roles to hide trauma and stuff like that. But there's other stuff that Medaka Box has a lot more going to it than just those two big things. But I think I always default to talking about them because they're the most prominent themes. So I don't know. Do people want arc analysis from Medaka Box or not? Like, if nobody wants to watch it, I'm not going to make it. But I'm just curious if anyone here who's a Medaka Box fan is interested in that. Great chatting with you guys. You're doing loads of great comments. So that's Medaka Box checked off. I think someone said they like the Chainsaw Man content. The issue with the Chainsaw Man content is nobody watches it. Nobody watches the Chainsaw Man content, which is a shame because it so quickly became one of my all-time favorite series. I think it's one of the best mangas ever written, and that's the strength of Fujimoto's writing is every character is written. How do I say this? They're in it as much as they need to be. They have as much depth as they need to be for the story. Now that makes for a really, really tight-knit, great story, especially with Chainsaw Man being like, if you haven't read it, you can read it in like a weekend. Like it's a quick story, and it hits all the beats it needs to hit. It's a very condensed story, but in like the best way possible. But as a result, most of the characters aren't that deep. They're deep enough. They support the themes of the story, and what's the word? They fill their role in the story and help. They help like the main characters get to the point. It gets to the point it needs to get, but it also means that a lot of the characters don't really do anything. Like apart from like, the big three of Makima, Power, and Denji, maybe Aki to an extent. Like they're probably the only characters I could do a character analysis on because they're the only characters with enough screen time and depth to really warrant that. And I think they're the kind of like those first three are the heart of the story. They're the three best characters in Chainsaw Man by a country mile. Not counting part 2. Ass is amazing, but I don't like to talk about stories that aren't finished, so I don't make many part 2 videos because it hasn't finished yet. And I don't like to speculate too much on the themes that are gonna happen. More reflect on the ones that already have. Sorry, let's see what's happened in the chat. Do you plan to travel to Japan in the future? I would love to go to Japan. It's on my bucket list of places to go. I don't know when I'm going to go. It's quite an expensive holiday, but it definitely is something I want to do. I am somewhat curious about, I know there's comments out, but I'm not sure what like the cosplay scene is in Japan. Potential doing a Japanese cosplay event would be amazing. I guess if people didn't know, I'm quite a big cosplayer. Follow my Instagram, Seth_cosplay, to see my amazing cosplays. So that would be fun. But yeah, I really want to go to Japan. I don't know when. I've been on and off learning Japan for like the last 3 years. That was mainly so I could read the Monogatari light novels that hadn't been translated. But luckily for us, the translation teams have really sped up the last few years. So we're getting some good. What's the word? I can't think of the word now. Okay, ignore that. I want to go to Japan, but my Japanese isn't great. Not that you need to know Japanese, obviously, to holiday there, but that's something I was doing in anticipation of this as well. What do you mean no one watches it? The vid has views, doesn't it? Yeah, the Chainsaw Man videos do have views, but comparatively to my other content, it doesn't really get the views. And obviously, as a content creator, the views give me a nice endorphin rush. I like seeing it, so it annoys when videos don't perform well. And even if, like, obviously I'm not... YouTube isn't, like, this isn't financially supporting me, YouTube. Obviously, I appreciate everyone who watches it and all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate that I can make the amount of money I do off YouTube. But it's not, like, financially supporting me, so I don't have to obsess on if a video doesn't do well. I'm financially ruined for the week, anything like that. But it does dishearten me a bit when, obviously, a video comes out and it doesn't get many views. So that's what I mean by it doesn't... Like, they do get views, but not that many. And I don't want to sound egotistical here or selfish or prideful or anything like that. But I do think the quality of my Chainsaw Man videos is quite high, which is why it annoys me that I don't get as many views as some of my other videos, which I don't think are as good. Like I say, some of my best videos are my Chainsaw Man videos. So yeah, that's what I mean. If you know what I mean. Do you have a Discord server? I don't have a Discord server. If people are interested, then maybe we could look into it. I'm a bit hesitant just because a lot of my other YouTubing friends, they all start Discord servers, and very many of them just fall apart within like a month and just become empty. Like I'm a nice Discord moderator in quite a few of them, and you know they're kind of dead now. So I don't know. If people are interested, we can look into it. But you know, if there's no interest there, then not really much point. What else have we got? God bless the translator team. Yes. It's going out my head now, but there's quite a few good people that translate Monogatari. Great. Honestly, translators, scanlators, whatever you want to call them, they are unsung heroes of the Western manga fandom. There's so many mangas, which if we didn't have the scanlators, we'd be so behind. Like Record Ragnarok, I'm going to talk about that a lot because it's one of my favourite series. If not, I'd be stuck on, what volume we're up to now? 6? Volume 6 is released. We're on like volume 19 currently, so... How long will I have to wait to read it? So they're unsung heroes. I occasionally donate to them because they deserve it. And Baki, we never got an official release, so you never read Baki. Looking good, man. Thank you. Thanks for joining the stream. Will you ever do the Meliodas video? The Meliodas video is somewhat written. It's partially written. I partially written most of the Seven Deadly Sins videos. If anyone remembers, a while back, I did a Barn video. Yeah, I did a Barn video, and it was going to be the start of this new wave of Seven Deadly Sins content on the channel because I just rewatched it, and the whole point of each video was how each of the sins reflects their character development reflects the opposite of their sin. So obviously, I don't know if anyone knows this, but in the Bible you have the 7 deadly sins, and in counterpart you have the 7 heavenly virtues. And because of that, the characters often display their arcs are going from the sin to the virtue. So Escanor, pride to humility, stuff like that. And that was kind of the point. The Barn video really underperformed, so I kind of shafted it. But I've been seeing more comments recently about people wanting Sins content. So maybe a Sin video will come. I think the Gopher one is the most complete. That Meliodas or Escanor, the ones they're properly underway. So I will be getting them out. I will try to get them out. But there's a lot of videos on the back burner that I just need the motivation to get them ready. Where can you read the translations? I assume that's for Monogatari. For Monogatari, the best place to find them is if you go onto r/Araki, which is the Monogatari Reddit. There is a page. 1 minute. Let me see if I can link it in the chat actually, because that's got all of the. Yeah, that's got all the current translations of Monogatari on it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's quite good. We're up to Ogi Monogatari at the moment, which is pretty cool. Let's put this there. If anyone's interested, that is the link in the chat. For anyone who hasn't read the translation of Monogatari. Yeah, I'd say especially read the off-season. Monster Season's a bit more, maybe you can wait till it's complete, but there's no reason not to read the off-season, is what I think. So scanlating King Command's been a difficult task for me, considering the proofreading is my weak spot. Oh, brilliant, we got someone who translates. Yeah, I can imagine it's not an easy task at all. I really think that Monogatari doesn't get as much attention and fame as it deserves, which is a shame. Yeah, considering how like I think it gets acknowledged for being as amazing as it is. I know Mal's not a great way to rank stuff in terms of quality of popularity, but there are quite a few Monogatari things in the top 100, so at least it's got that going for it. But yeah, I think my issue I find Monogatari is the reason I can never really recommend it to people is, number one, how would you explain what Monogatari is about to anyone? It's an impossible task, and all the lolly stuff I think really puts people off. But you know, I spoke about this in the one of the back videos, probably the Snanago Snake one, where personally does it make me feel a bit uncomfortable at times? Yeah, it definitely does. But I understand there's artistic merit to it, but like I don't think if you don't like it and you don't want to watch Monogatari because of that stuff, that's fair enough. Even if it's artistic, that doesn't warrant you having to consume something that's questionable, something that makes you not feel very nice inside. So I think that's completely understandable. People don't want to watch it for that reason. But yeah, I think Monogatari is the best story ever written, so I'm always going to be praising it to high heaven. What else have we got? Scanlink stuff is fun, but it can also be taxing. Yeah, I can. It doesn't sound fun to. Well, actually, no. I think it's fun if you're good enough to be able to scanlate. Then it's probably a very fun experience. If you're like, I know I always see in subreddits, especially the back subreddit, people like using Google Translate to try translating. It's an absolute mess. But yeah, so working OnePlus gave me more sympathy towards official translators. Yeah, translators. I know the Viz translators get a lot of shit. That JJK one did when he messed up Go. Like why they quit a lot of shit. When at the end of the day, as you say, they're often not paid much. Really enjoying this smoothie because I haven't had dinner yet. It's surprising how competitive Record Ragnarok's scanlation scene is. Is it? Oh, interesting. Yeah, Record Ragnarok's got I am very thankful. It's a long manga. What annoys me about it is it's not how long they take to translate the Raws thing. There's completely understandable amount of time. But it does annoy me when certain YouTubers will just post the bloody Raw spoilers in the thumbnails of their videos. Like, I just got spoiled for the round 9 fighters. The day the Raws drop, like, I often just kind of leave the subreddit when that happens because people like to spoil on that subreddit. But yeah, I just got that spoiled and I was very, very annoyed about that because it's an insane matchup. Insane in that, like, it is so out of people's predictions, considering that Apollo versus Simo was like for most people a lock in. That's definitely going to happen, and it just doesn't. Very interesting. Ragnarok is amazing at the moment, but we'll talk about that in a minute because I want to talk about the future of that content on the channel at some point. Lolicon content is something I can look past if there's more meaning. Yeah, definitely. I think like Monogatari definitely has meaning to it. Like personally, I can watch it and put up with it and understand the meaning, even if I don't particularly enjoy it. My point was more that like if it makes you uncomfortable, it's completely fine for you to drop Monogatari. I don't think you have to push past something that makes you feel uncomfortable just because people say it's artful. Yeah, so that's a fair point. But yeah, there is definitely worse stuff. I've read manga with far worse stuff than that. So what else we got? Thanks so much for the link. No problem. Always happy to send it. When is the Zaragoza analysis coming up? The Zaragoza analysis is another video that's in the works. My issue with the Zaragoza analysis, I want to reread the series. I want to reread the series from back to front. Obviously, we haven't got all official translations for it yet, but you know the scan translations, whatever, are fine for it. I don't know when it's going to happen. If I'm being brutally honest, because there's so much to talk about, and it's not a series I feel I can do in terms of character analysis. I just want to make one big mega video on it. So I don't know when that. I know it's not a great answer. It is kind of in the works, like a million different videos. So yeah, do it what you will. We're at the end of the comments now. So what the hell are we talking about? Oh yeah, the Madara. So we talked about. Oh, we're on the Chainsaw Man stuff. Yeah. So I am going to make more Chainsaw Man videos because I know people do genuinely enjoy them. I don't know what I'm going to make it on though, because I could do character analysis on I don't want to do it on Denji because he's obviously still evolving in part 2, so I don't want to do that. Makima I could do, but I feel like summarize a lot of what makes her great in my Control vs. Obedience video. I could do Aki. Aki video could be quite cool because there's a lot to say about Aki and how. Yeah, Aki's Aki video will probably be in the works, and the power video. I say a lot about my power video in my Obedience vs. Control one, but I think that warrants a video of its own as well. There are other, like, I could do like a video on the symbolism of sex and like women in Chainsaw Man, but it's quite similar to how the food symbolism is. I've already made a video on that, so it might be a bit repetitive, and everyone loves going about how repetitive I am. So potentially, maybe a video on the Darkness Devil. Darkness Devil would be quite cool. So yeah, that's the Chainsaw Man stuff. I wouldn't expect anything in the immediate future, but it is still on the cards. What genre is Monogatari? See, this is the issue. What is Monogatari? Battle, slice of life. It has battle, not much of it. It is in there. It does have romance. It's not a romance series though. It does have mystery, but it isn't a mystery series. Our slice of life is, yeah, it's just, you know, you can't really what's the word? You can't summarize what Monogatari is. It's difficult. Kind of shame there's been a haters for Lubu. Yes, the Lubu spin-off is in. It's in a really, because it's a really fun spot. We're in the Roman Colosseum at the moment. It's pretty fun. I remember, like, I think it wasn't the current chapter, but it was the chapter before that. And then, no, sorry, the chapter before the chapter, if that makes sense. We got like Lubu coming out to fight, and then was like, oh, it's going to start. And then next match, we had a whole chapter of them just looking at each other, and that annoyed people. But yeah, it'd be good for the Lubu one to get translated. Lubu spin-off's really, really good. Obviously, we got the Jack the Ripper spin-off. I don't know how far it is in Japan, but we're on chapter 13, I think, in English, and it's pretty good. So yeah, I it's a shame, but obviously, whoever is translating it, you know, they're not doing it for, it's not their job at the end of the day. They're doing it out of passion. So, you know, if they haven't got passion to translate it, you know, it's fair enough. Have you thought about doing a Bungo Stray Dogs video? I love Bungo Stray Dogs. Bungo Stray Dogs is underrated as hell. It's amazing. I might do a video on it. I have considered it before. My issue is, this is what I feel you're going to hear me say a lot about a lot of series. How do I approach them? Do I do the character analysis, or do I do the overarching themes? For Bungo, I think I could do character analysis, because I think a lot of the characters have a lot of depth to them, especially some of the bigger ones like Dazai. I could definitely do a Dazai video. Yeah, so yeah, potentially. If people are interested again, just spam my comments on my videos of what you want, and it will probably convince me to do it. Like, the only reason I started doing Gintama content was because people asked for it. Gintama was like my second favorite series of all time at that point, but it wasn't as I felt confident to cover. But I feel I'm more confident now in covering series that, there's a lot of series that I before thought I'm not good enough, or I don't understand them enough to cover them. And kind of getting forced to make a Gintama video made me kind of realise, yeah, I can talk about Gintama. Like, I made that Takasugi video and that Gintoki video that did really well, and probably two of the best videos I've ever made. So, you know, I think I underestimate how well I know series, and I feel that's like kind of thing for me. I feel I need to really understand the series to make a video on it, but maybe I don't. I don't know. What we got next? How can I persuade someone to watch Monogatari? I think the only way to persuade someone to watch Monogatari is to force them to watch it with you. See, one of my friends, he's my cosplay photographer, real nice guy. He's a massive Monogatari fan. He just sold me his Kotobukiya Ogi figure, which is the only scale figure of Ogi, and a very rare figure, and he sold it for me. So I drove down to his place and picked it up. It was great. Anyway, cool dude. He's miraculously good at getting people to watch Monogatari. It's insane. He's got like 10 people to watch it and like it. By the sounds of it, he kind of just bribes them. So that's a way to do it. Well, what's the plot of Monogatari? Plot of Monogatari. Monogatari starts. Okay, so Monogatari, and then everything builds upon that. So it's very much people challenging the supernatural curses they have on them in order to overcome personal issues. Big massive metaphor. Big metaphor show. And it has some of the best music, direction, and just wacky stuff you've seen in a long time. It's a great watch. Will always recommend it. Personally, I would enjoy a Osaka video. Yeah, potentially, yeah. Again, like, I'm gonna list down all these things at the end of the video, because this is all about trying to find out what people actually want to watch. as my name suggests, I would be really interested in One Piece videos. Ooh, One Piece videos. Well, I used to have quite a few One Piece videos on the channel. I think a lot of them are private now because they're really bad. My issue with doing One Piece content is there are a lot of really good One Piece analysts. There's some really good ones, and I don't like. I feel like, what am I going to offer that's a fresh perspective if I come into the scene? I don't. If people want One Piece videos, like I could do One Piece videos. It's a series I'm a massive fan of. I just don't know if there's any new takes I can bring to the scene, but it's definitely possible. God, look at all these comments. I'm falling behind. Where did we get up to? Have you read Zaragoza? I have read Zaragoza, but I want to reread it for the video. Watching a few of your Medaka books last year pushed to give the series another look, and it certainly made Medaka's successor and Jet winning Black Arcs more fun. Yeah, great. I feel with Medaka books, especially on my first read, I didn't think the ending was great. But then once I analysed a bit and understood what the whole point story is, I think the whole story is a lot better for that. But I think it's one of those series where you're not necessarily going to enjoy it as much on the first read, but on the second read, and I've read it about 7 times now, it gets better and better. Quite up to the recent MB analysis video. Kumogawa analysis is a banger. Thank you. If anyone didn't know, my first Kumogawa video, which is horrendous. Every other word in that video is just loser. That is my most viewed video. Not by much now. I feel the second Reckon Ragged video is going to overtake it any day now, which is scary because that video only came out a few weeks ago, and that Kumogawa video has been blown up for years now. So that's cool. But yeah, that video is horrendous. So I remade it, and that's the second Kumogawa video, which I think I'm a lot more happy with. I think it represents Kumogawa a lot better. Whereas the first video was alright, talking about everything up until his fight with Medaka, and everything after that, I just kind of flub it. I don't really care, even though that's like the best part of his character is after that. I got into Medaka from J-Star's game. Watched anime, read the manga, and your last videos have been very helpful for the series. Thank you. Yeah, J-Star's Medaka. Well, this is a real fun story. How I first watched Medaka books. It was when, what the hell is it called? The J-Star's successor, the Jump Force. When Jump Force was coming out and everyone was speculating what would be in it, Medaka was like this one name that kept coming up. So I was like, I think someone even one of the workers teased they'd be in it, they just weren't. So that's how and obviously Kumogawa and Medaka are both playable characters in J-Stars. But yeah, so that's how I found out about Medaka. I added it to my list and I watched it. I finished it, and I finished it and I got to like the last episode, second last episode, and I was like, how the hell are they gonna wrap this stuff up? I was like, is Mia Konjo gonna join as the vice president? What's going on? Then we got the Kumogawa OVA thing, and I was like, okay, yeah, I got to read the manga, got to find out what's going on, and that is for me how I got into it. So yeah, so I'm glad my videos help you understand the manga. I enjoy when people, I love when people enjoy my videos. When people take something away and it helps them understand something better, that makes me feel quite nice inside. I have a friend who didn't like Monogatari at first, but when I showed him Kizu and he got hooked, he doesn't mind it. Yeah, well, I've said this on the channel a few times. I didn't like Monogatari the first time I watched it. I'm very stubborn about dropping stuff. So even though I wasn't really enjoying it, I got all the way to Suki, and that's when I enjoyed it. I don't know why it was. It was the final scene. I don't know why this is. When Ononoke is just sitting on Suki's bed, and Aragi's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" That moment, for some reason, the whole series clicked to me, and I loved it after that. So yeah, but yeah, I think with Monogatari, it's not necessarily a first watch you can enjoy it, because somehow, Bake is a masterpiece, and somehow I didn't enjoy it the first time. So I don't know, it's easily done. And you love Kizu. Yeah, Kizu's a really good way to get people in the series. My issue is I hate showing people Kizu before Bake. I think it does a disservice. I think it works so much better as a prequel than Bake does as a sequel. But I think Kizu is a really good way to get people into it, because Kizu is just, it's beautiful. It really is. Have you watched Bleach? I've watched and read Bleach. I wouldn't expect any Bleach videos. I do like Bleach. I'm not a massive fan of the series. If you want good Bleach content, go watch my friend Pokesal. He does good Bleach content. But yeah, it's not a series I'm that in love with. To be fair, outside of One Piece, I'm not the biggest fan of the big three. I like parts of Naruto. I love the Pain arc. But Naruto and Bleach, I don't know, they just don't really do it for me. I'm not saying they're bad stories. It's like Hell's Paradise recently. It doesn't do anything for me. I think it looks nice. I think the music's nice, but nothing. It doesn't pull me in, which is a shame because I've heard really good things about it. And I'm not saying it's bad. It hasn't clicked with me. Will you ever do Baki content? I have a lot of Baki content on the channel. My Yujiro versus Baki video is amazing. If I do say myself, I think that's a really good video. My Jack video, I've done a Jack video. It's all right. I've done a Musashi video. It's pretty good. I've done a Sumo Arc video. That's all right. It was one of my first videos to blow up was an old Baki video, which is horrendous. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, and I will be doing more Baki content. There's a Pickle video I've been trying to make for like a year now. But now Pickle's fighting Jack in whatever the next Baki do is. So we'll get some more Pickle development. So I'll wait till that fight ends before I do the Pickle video. Your Mono videos are so great. I'm thankful they exist. Thanks for it. Please never stop doing. Thank you so much. Monogatari doesn't get talked about enough. It really doesn't. Like, Under the Scope, I think does the best. Has done the best Monogatari videos on the platform. I think his videos are phenomenal. He obviously hasn't made any in years, and like there's a couple other smaller channels that occasionally do Monogatari, but I'm like the only, at least that I know of in the West, the only like consistent Monogatari YouTuber. So it's a bit of a shame, but you know, I want more people to watch it. If we ever get the off-season anime, which I don't know if we will, guys, I really don't. Maybe that revitalise it a bit. I don't know. Where are we up to? Who do you think is Nisha Reason's best antagonist? Kamigawa. I don't think. Or Kaiki. Kaiki and Saragoro's got some good ones too. Katanagari's got some good ones. For me, it's Kamigawa. Kamigawa is just such an the thing with Kamigawa is he's like a lot of people who have never read Madara books know Kamigawa and they think he's cool because of All Fiction. I think All Fiction is like one of the least cool aspects of him. I think it's cool, but there's a lot cooler parts to him than just All Fiction. And Kaiki's amazing. He's a really good antagonist. Does Ogi count? Because Ogi's an amazing antagonist as well. So yeah, I know it's hard. Nisha Reason wrote so many amazing antagonists, but I'd probably say Kamigawa. Anshin is narrating the JSTAR. Yeah, I've seen clips of it. It's amazing. I really appreciate that Najimi narrates the stuff in JSTARS. JSTARS Victory versus... We got a lot of JSTARS fans. This is great. So Victory versus the best arena fight. Yes, I'm not... from what I've heard, I'm not much of a gamer anymore. What I've heard, Jump Force is just not good. It's just... Well, not good, bad, but like it's just a worse version of JSTARS. I feel like, from what I've heard, Jump Force is completely oversaturated with just not like too many characters from one season. There's like 8 Dragon Ball characters, whereas JSTARS has so many different series. Apparently it's a licensing issue, but like I would have liked to see Kuro Sensei in it or Gintoki or anyone like that, but obviously we didn't get that. I'm nearly out of tea. As British, I've got my Earl Grey tea. I didn't really feel Monogatari even until Tsubasa Tiger, after which it all clicked for me. Yeah, fair. I hear it from a lot of people. I've heard, Tsubasa Tiger. I've heard Kizu for some people. Weirdly, I've heard Hana before. Hana Monogatari. Hana Monogatari is... It used to be like my least favourite of the main saga. Now it's up like top 5 maybe. It's amazing. Hana's one of those acquired tastes where once you get it, you get it, and it's amazing. Actually, we're on the same page on the big 3. Yeah, One Piece I really enjoy. There's a lot about One Piece that is really good. Naruto and Bleach. Again, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not trying to say that One Piece is better than them or anything like that. I'm just saying what I personally enjoy. Any more Madara with Sanata videos in the future or is in the back burner? No, it's not on the back burner. Like a lot of videos I'm mentioning, they're on the back. They're in the writing process. The Kikijima videos started. The Shirobame video has started. Them I definitely want to get out. And then I'm probably going to do an arc analysis for... What the hell do you call the first arc in the Madara box? The Public Committee arc, I guess? I don't know if I do a video for like basically all the season 1. I don't know how I'd structure an arc analysis video. I don't know how I'm going to work the arcs out, but that's going to be going on. Any more? Where are we up to? How did you feel when you finished reading Tatsuki Fujimoto's file? Oh, I've been looking forward to talking about Fire Punch in this thing. Fire Punch is just better Chainsaw Man. I don't know if that's controversial. Fire Punch is Fujimoto at its most unhinged and at its best. I think, like, everyone says Chainsaw Man's so weird, it's so crazy. Yeah, maybe for shonen, but, like, it is so normal and formulaic compared to the insanity that is Fire Punch. Fire Punch is, like, up there with Berserk for me in that tier of manga where it's godly. I adore Fire Punch. I want to make a Fire Punch video. The issue with the Fire Punch video is, like I spoke earlier in the stream about Fujimoto's writing style. You can't really do character analysis. Maybe for Agni, that's about it. I just want to make one massive mega video, and how I'm going to structure said video, I just don't know how I'm going to go about that. But I really want to get a Fire Punch video out. Probably just one big mega video on the series, because it's genuinely amazing. So if you haven't read Fire Punch, read it. If you can't deal with really heavy subjects like incest, gore, like existential dread, maybe it's not the best series because it's really graphic and really puts these philosophical ideas to the forefront, but it is amazing. Like all the Fujimoto's work slaps. Like Goodbye Area is another amazing thing. The one about what's the Fujimoto one shot called where the guy writes a song to his crush? That one's really good as well. But I'm rambling about Fire Punch. Yeah, I want to do a Fire Punch video. It's going to be amazing because Fire Punch is godly. Where are we up to? Hana is great, though Shinobu Mare will probably stay my favourite Kanbaru-centric arc. Her conversation with Shinobu, yeah, that is one of the best scenes in Monogatari. It really is. That scene, because the scene is one of those amazing scenes where it shows how good Nisho's character writing is, because you don't realise that Shinobu and Seishiro is just like it's just like Kanbaru and Senjugahara till you just see them interact, and then it all kind of clicks that, well, at least to me, the association. It's great. Yeah, Hana, I'd put some of the Hana moments above that, because Hana is, I don't know, watch my Kanbaru video, but someone else has, let me try find it. Someone else has done a amazing Hana Monogatari video. I can't think who it was by, though. It's not got many views. I might have shouted out on the channel before. Let's see if I can find it. Hana Monogatari analysis. Because this is the video that really kind of like clicked and made me appreciate Hana a lot more. If I can find it. My internet's being a bit slow. If it's going to load. It's by Wardo Chaos. It's only got 4.9k views, so yeah. I might link it in the chat quickly because it's one of the best Monogatari analysis videos I've seen on the platform. If it's gonna let me. Okay, why is my Google buffering? God damn it. Let's just quickly put that. Yeah, watch this video after the stream because it's really good. God, I'm getting, yeah. So I'm on a Discord server that translates Monogatari in Madaka Box, and someone there who was a mistranslation number skills and said, "Oh, that's interesting. Error introducing the coloured manga instead of 7 million, 700 million. Oh, interesting. Maybe I have to redo my anatomy skills video." That's another thing. Anyone who's interested in the translation of Madaka Box, was there different translators for when Natsume first shows up and uses what's the word, from when she fights in the Jet Black Wedding arc, when we see all her skills get used? Is that a different translation to when we see her fighting Ahiko? Because if you look at the skills on the page, they are different, but then they just seem to be different translations of the same moves. It made doing that where I listed all the skills really difficult, because I was like, Water Gun and Water Bullet, I'm pretty sure they're the exact same skill, because the wiki doesn't list both of them, so I think they're the same. I think it's just different translations, but I don't know. That makes me interesting. But yeah, that's interesting if the translation's different. Have you heard or seen the Tatami Galaxy? I have not. I don't think it's on my list either. Okay, that's going on the list because that is a recommendation. Sounds good. Fire Punch interests me more than Chainsaw Man, to be honest. Also, as someone who haven't seen much of Chainsaw Man, sounds your Ganagi manga really need to be inspiration alongside Itagaki. Yeah, Fire Punch. I think it's better than Chainsaw Man. I still think both are masterpieces, but I can understand why some people don't think Fire Punch is better. Fire Punch is a very acquired taste. Someone who haven't seen much of Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I'd say Chainsaw Man, just read it. You can get it done in like a weekend. It's a very quick read, and it's a very satisfying read. Sounds like your Go Negi manga, which seems to be inspirational. Yeah, I'd say so. Have you read Imperfect Girl by Nisho Ishin? I have not read it. It's on my list. There's quite a lot of Nisho Ishin I just haven't got around to yet. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely need to. Is redoing the skill video really worth the loss of your sanity? People overestimate how difficult that video was to film. It was mostly one take. I didn't get many mistakes in doing those skills, so it was just kind of sitting down in front of the computer for like an hour and 20 minutes. It wasn't that bad. I do remember the thing is, I missed the live premiere bit. Like, it really annoyed me because it was like, was it New Year's? It was like New Year's Day or Christmas or something like that. It was around the holidays, and I looked at my friends like, oh no, I've missed it, and I got there for like the last 10 minutes. But I really enjoyed the reception to that. People call me crazy. Yeah, I'm not redoing it. I'm not redoing that video, but I'm always gonna have a special place in my heart for that video. As someone who's seen Konosuba, have you read other works? Send a message. Find it really funny. Yes, I have. I've read these other works. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think his best stuff is Kamenamichi Rise Up, or I don't know what the English is. It's a isekai about a professional wrestler themed about animals who wants to open a pet shop. I won't say any more because that's all the premise you need. It is probably the most underrated isekai ever. It is insane. It's so good. How people just haven't heard of it, I don't understand. It is amazing. It's not Konosuba good, but nothing can be. But yeah, it's so good, so underrated. It's genuinely hilarious. But yeah, Sensen Haken semester. I can't remember what the English of it is. That's pretty good too. Also, yeah, one of my goals to learn Japan is to read Manga Raw just to get the kanji a bit more. Yeah, I imagine from what I've heard from another of my friends. Shout out Eddie Hates Anime, good YouTuber, great guy. I'm hopefully meeting him next year. He's flying over from the States to go to Comic-Con with me. That should be fun. Yeah, his Japan learning is a lot further along than mine. And he says, yeah, he tried with some Monogatari. Am I having Monogatari? It was Nisho Ishin. He's like, yeah, this is just another level. I do own nearly all of the Japanese light novels from Monogatari. I'm missing Shino Monogatari 1 and 2 and Ikusa Monogatari. But I've got the rest, so maybe one day I can read them. Also, yeah, one of my goals to learn one take. Holy hell! Yeah, it was. There was a few cuts, but it was pretty much one take. Like the whole video, I did sit down and record the whole video in one go. Yeah, so that was a interesting video to film. I watch anime; it's funny, but find other works a bit more fun. Yep, fair enough. Fair enough. Obviously, we all have personal preferences. I have to admit, when reading the successor arc, it was hard to like Madaka, but when she lost her position as president and started to behave like a normal girl, I felt very hard. Yes, I do think the successor arc is designed in a way to frame her negatively. Like, we're meant to be rooting for Zenkichi as the protagonist. Like, he kind of assumes that role, which is quite fun because him assuming the role of protagonist means that she's gone beyond the protagonist role in how she's acting, which is why she no longer is treated as one by the story. Some cool meta writing. But yeah, as soon as she becomes her, I think the best moments in a Madaka box is the Epic Life one. I think the chapter's called Epic Life, or no, Life is Epic. That chapter. That is just the best. That's the best chapter because the moment when Madaka not only realizes what's wrong with her acting as the protagonist, she then tells Najimi the same, and then they both become normal high school guys. The series could end there, and it would be a perfect ending. Obviously, I think the actual ending is really good too, but that moment there is just the best moment in the Dark Box. Nisho Ishin stuff is especially difficult. Yeah, it looks pretty horrendous stuff. Okay, I finally got down to the end of the comments. Okay, so yeah, so we talked about the Chainsaw Man stuff. I've already talked about Fire Punch thing, yeah, so Fire Punch video. We talked about Sins videos. Gintama. I'll quickly talk about Gintama because I know someone here said they liked Gintama. I've kind of said most of what I want to say about Gintama. That's kind of my issue. Because Gintama has amazing character writing and amazing themes, but it is a comedy series. So there's only so much you can extrapolate from it. And I feel most of what I say about Utsuro, I might remake the Utsuro video, maybe. What I've said in the Utsuro video the Gintoki and the Takasugi. Those 3 videos kind of sum up everything that's good about Gintama. Like my last Gintama video, I think, was an arc analysis for the Beam Saber arc, which I think is a pretty good video, but I don't know if I could do that for all of the arcs because a lot of them kind of have the same message to them. The Kagura video did come out and it was pretty bad. The Shinpachi video, the Shinpachi, Hijikata, and Sogo videos, I don't know if they're ever coming out because I just cannot for the life of me write a script I'm happy with for those characters. I don't know why. I just can't. I do want to make more Gintama videos. It's just there's not much left I want to say. We'll see. I'm going to endeavour to try get one out. I just don't know what it'd be on. Yeah, same. I wasn't into Medaka Box after Success Arcs. Became very endearing. Yeah, I feel like, it's definitely the intent. Medaka is quite obnoxious, but that's obviously the point. And when you understand that's the point, it makes it so good. It's why I always say Medaka Box on a reread is so much better. I really love Zaragoto. What do you feel about the last 3 volumes? I don't think it was kind of bloated. Yeah, I guess. I feel Nisho Ishin... How do I say this? There's a lot of ideas put to the forefront. I don't know if all of them are explored. They're not explored enough to warrant their inclusion. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil anyone. But yeah, I definitely would say they're somewhat bloated. I still really enjoy them. But it's been a while since I've like a lot of my Zaragoto knowledge is kind of goes in my head. It's one of those series that just kind of leaks out my head. Like I read Medaka Box, or I reread a lot of Medaka. Like I reread a lot of Medaka Box, Chainsaw Man, Record Ragnarok, and Baki very regularly for videos, and I watch Monogatari a lot just for the aspect of learning it. But I haven't touched Zaragoto since I first read it, so yeah. I would say it's somewhat bloated, but I just desperately need to reread the series if I can find the time to, because I've got so many like I'm rereading all the Konosuba light novels. I'm reading the ReZero light novels for the first time, reading the Rascal Dreams light novels, and I'm also rereading the Monogatari novels. So a lot of them. Balkan Explorer, hello. I haven't seen your name in ages. You haven't commented in the video in a while, or if you haven't, I've missed it. It is nice. It's nice seeing all these commenters from people that I know have watched me for a while. So. Thank you all. Yeah, I haven't had dinner yet in my time. When it's about now, it's dinner time, so I've got a nice smoothie to keep me going. So we've talked about Gintama. Are there any others? Baki, we've already talked about. Yeah. What other series do I cover? Oh, Record of Ragnarok. I want to talk about Record, because Record of Ragnarok has done a lot for my channel, if that makes sense. Like my first Record of Ragnarok video didn't really blow up. It has now, but it didn't at first. This second Record of Ragnarok video, which I think is I'm very proud of this video, it's really blown up. So I'm really happy. I don't know if anyone hears from the Record of Ragnarok video. It looks like most of the people here are people I recognise from years back. Like a lot of you guys, I recognise you from being for your constant support. So I'm not seeing too many new people, but yeah. So anyone who's here from the Record of Ragnarok stuff, I kind of face the issue of I've kind of said everything I need to say on the series. Like, obviously, the series has its fights, and when you've analysed all the fights, you've kind of analysed everything. Like, I could do a video on the overarching themes of the series, or maybe some character analysis, but I feel a lot of those would kind of bleed into what I said in the other videos. I did do the video on the Jack spin-off. A lot of people disagree. Well, a lot of people seem to disagree with me, but their comments of why they disagree is stuff I agree on. Like a lot of them say, oh, but the spin-off gives him more depth. And I'm like, yeah, it does. And they say, well, he's not really evil for these reasons. I said, yes, I know. I agree. And my point was just more that it kind of makes round 4. Like if you reread round 4 after reading that spin-off, it really changes how you view the fight. It's just, at least to me, it's not the same. It just feels very different to me. And it kind of sours it for me. I just can't reconcile that I can't view Jack as evil if he's like in terms of just what his actions. He's about the same as Lubu or Okuta or maybe Simo the way you look at it. Like there's like I don't know, because he's like really kind to kids and stuff, and then he kills serial killers. So it's like he's not actually that bad. And people do say like, oh, isn't the point of round 4 that we see him as evil at the first, but then we realise, oh, he's actually human. And I'm like, it's not so much that we see. Again, it's just my interpretation, of course. It's more that we see that he's evil, but then we have to recognise that he is human because all of us have evil in us.
and the fact that he has to fight for humanity, the most evil of people, means that he's the necessary evil that humanity needs to survive, representing the evil in all of us, if that makes sense. At least that's to me. I did see a really fun comment basically saying I didn't see Jack as this evil because I didn't know Jack was, and I'm like, I never considered, like, this is very close-minded to me, that other cultures don't know Jack the Ripper is. Like, to me, and I think in the West, especially in Britain, Jack, apart from probably Adam, is easily the most well-known person on the human roster. Like, I'd say the only people the average person in the West would know is Adam, Jack, maybe Tesla. I feel most people know the name Tesla. Possibly Nostradamus. It's a name you hear a lot. You might not know much about him, but I feel most of them you just wouldn't know. Yeah, so I will be doing a Recollect video when round 9 ends. I've got a really fun thing planned for when round 9 ends. I think that's going to be a really fun video. I've got like not a skip, but something at the beginning that I'm going to do, which I think is going to be really cool. I might as well tease it here. Wait a minute. This is your teaser. That's your teaser there. See, blue trousers. If you can work out what the hell those trousers mean, yeah, if you can work out what those trousers mean, then you'll probably guess what the little fun thing I'm going to be doing for that video is. Ugh. But yeah, so round 9 video is going to be pretty cool. I heard of Jack the Ripper from JoJo's. When did Jack the Ripper get mentioned in JoJo's? Oh yeah, he's in part 1, isn't he? Yeah, that's interesting. I thought Jack the Ripper, like he's like the serial killer. He's like, I always thought he's one of the most well-known historical figures just globally, but clearly not. I'm very curious how well-known he is in Japan, if it's a Japanese manga. Is it possible that you could do a video explaining what Madaka's forms do and the strengths? I touched on this earlier. I don't really enjoy making explainer videos, so I don't know. It's just I don't particularly enjoy it. I have a hard time understanding them due to how simple I see things in Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's most of Madaka's forms are fairly Dragon Ball simple. They obviously parodies that where I don't want to start naming them because everyone's got different translations for them. But obviously we'll go by hair color. You've got pink hair first, then the stronger version of that is black hair because that's used in the end. Then you have the half and half hair. Okay, yeah, they are quite confusing. I'll see if I can work it into a video somewhere. I probably should have done it in my Madaka box video, in my Madaka analysis. Underrated video. It's got considering how good it is, I don't think it gets enough views. So yeah, I'll see what I can do. You probably don't play Last Bit. I don't, I'm sorry, but knowing that the Japanese voice of Gintama is the voice of Ragnar the Blood Edge is hilarious, especially when he voices young Joseph. Just like, yeah, I imagine that's good. I can't remember the guy's name now. The voice actor. The amount of characters he voice actors is insane. It's almost on par with the guy who voices all the villains. Dio, Takasugi. There's more than that. He's Beastite and stuff like that. That guy. Those two guys seem to voice everyone. This is the only iteration of him I know. Really? Okay. Where are you from, Balkan Explorer? Is it the Balkans by any chance? Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised. I thought Jack was a very well-known figure, but clearly not. Yeah, that's interesting. What about other members of the roster? I don't know. I knew Raiden was the only member of the human roster I didn't know when I started the series. I knew all the rest. I am a bit of a history nerd, but I was familiar with every other person on the roster. So I guess I'm not the best gauge, but that's interesting. Oh, Croatia. Really? I assumed Europe would yeah, okay, fair enough. More you learn. Maybe me being British makes Jack the Ripper. I need to ask an American. Because I assume most of my audience is American. That seems to be what the statistics say. So we talked about the Record Ragnarok videos. I don't know what other mangas and animes we cover. Unless I'm missing a big one. Konosuba? We do. Well, I did a Konosuba video recently, which nobody watched, which is a shame. I think it was a good video. Those were some of my bigger videos at one point, was my Konosuba videos, but they haven't they're pretty bad. They're really bad. I want to remake them, but I don't know if they get views. Is my issue. But yeah, I would say if you've watched Konosuba, watch the Konosuba video I did recently. It was a collab. It's one of the few collabs I do. I had my good friend Utaku Dreams on, who's one of the nicest guys you can meet. Not just in the YouTube scheme. He is just a lovely, lovely fella. Like my favorite thing he always says is, I don't have subscribers. I don't have fans. I just have friends, which is, I find that really sweet. He's a very shonily, very nice guy. Speaking of Jack the Ripper, is getting into the Fate series a hard thing to do? That's quite funny because Fate has 2 versions of Jack the Ripper that are both different. Quite fun because what's it called? The new Fate series just had its like special episode 0, and it was god tier. I mean, it's got Gilgamesh in it. I was about to point my Gilgamesh figure, but the chat's blocking where Gilgamesh is. But there is a quartz scale Gil there. Is Fate hard to get into? No, I don't think Fate's hard to get into. It's a slog. There's a lot of it, but I don't think it's hard to get into. I don't know. People might disagree with me. What I will say with Fate is, watch Fate Zero, because it's the best Fate part. And if you enjoy Fate Zero, you're probably going to enjoy most of the rest of Fate. I know some people say you have to start with Stay Night or Unlimited Blade Works. My issue with that is because basically, for anyone who doesn't know Fate, there are a ridiculous amount of Fate stuff, and a lot of them do not connect to other stuff. But like in terms of the main core timeline, you have Fate Zero, and then next to it, you have Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Work, and Heaven Feel, which are like 3 different split-offs from this one. You're meant to start with Stay Night, one of these 3, and then watch this as a prequel. The issue I find with that is you get spoiled for everything in Fate Zero from watching this because it's a prequel. And by the same merit, you get spoiled for a couple things from Fate Zero if you watch that first. But like the stuff that gets spoiled, you get spoiled for all the cool stuff in Fate Zero, whereas you don't really you get spoiled for like some minor, not really plot points. I just think Fate Zero is better. I just think it works better as the first point, even if it was written as a prequel. It's one of the few times I will go against. It's not really author intent because it was written by someone else. I will go against the release order. I think Fate Zero first. So yeah, watch Fate Zero. If you enjoy that, then watch Unlimited Blade Works. If you like that, then watch Heaven's Feel, which is 3 movies. Then if you want to watch, you can watch Stay Night, and that's like the main timeline. Then after that, you can kind of watch the rest in whatever order you want. Like there's Apocrypha. Like if I was recommending, I'd say watch the Case Studies of El Melio next, which technically isn't a Fate series, but it's about a character from Fate Zero, and it gives, I think it's fine. And then after that, you can watch Fate Apocrypha, which is enjoyable, but not great. It's not great, it's really not, but it does introduce Astolfo and Mordru, some of the best characters in Fate. What else is there's Fate Extra, and there's all the comedy series, like this Carnival Phantasm, which is like a crossover series with Tsukihime, which is fun. And then there's also what's the cooking one? There's like a cooking anime called Tonight's Menu for Emiya. What other Fate stuff are there? There's Fate Extra, Last Encore. There's a lot of Fate stuff. I would just say, watch Fate Zero if you like that. Watch Unlimited Blade Works, Heaven's Feel, and Stay Night, and after that, just watch anything with Fate in the name. There's a Magic Girl anime, Fate Khalid, which is full of lolly stuff, but I think is very good. Tatsuki and Fate videos. I want to get some Fate videos. There's a Fate Zero video on Kingship I've been trying to get out for a while now, so I might do that. I can't wait doing a Scanda video too. Tatsuki Fujimoto pulled a lot of inspiration from Western pop culture. Do you think that if more authors in Japan got inspiration from America, I don't think it'd be a net positive. I feel most of the big authors do that anyway. Like, obviously, Oda has loads of inspiration. Araki has loads. I don't think it'd be a net positive. I think it's enjoyable. I love seeing my references and stuff. I think it's just different types of things where Fujimoto's got a very specific type of, like, it's mainly movies, whereas like Araki references a lot of music, stuff like that. I know I like my references and stuff, so I think it would be a net positive. Finally, met Stream Subset. Hello, Paper. Thanks for coming on board. What of the Tsukihime Melty Blood series? I'm not that familiar with it. My only real familiarity with it is through Carnival Phantasm. One of my friends, Eddie, another YouTuber, great guy. He's a massive Tsukihime fan, and he's really trying to get me to do it, play the visual novel, which I will do eventually, Eddie. Okay, I will watch it. But yeah, Tsukihime looks really fun, so I will give it a try. But the amount of stuff I've got to give a try is ridiculous. Like my anime / manga, I'm on like close to 500 series I've done, which is I guess a lot. But then I know people with like 1,000, so yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, there's a lot on my list to get to, especially on the manga side of things. I read manga quite slow compared to how quick I watch anime, which is usually the opposite for people, but I don't know. That's just kind of how it is. Like, I've been reading 20th Century Boys for like the last 2 months. I'm not even half through the manga yet. And I'm reading Fist of the Seeker, which is hard to read because the art is horrendous. But, you know, I want to enjoy it because I want to get all the Joji references in Kengan. And I'm also reading How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift. I've watched the anime, but it's also in the Kengan verse. And now I get all the references, like Gao Long showing up, or just Adam Dudley driving in a pickup truck. If you don't know the Kengan verse is fun, because there's a webcomic called Fist of the Seeker. It looks worse than One Punch Man's webcomic. It's horrendous, the art. But the author then has written Kengan, which is a bit like Baki. And he's also written How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift, which is a slice of life anime girl gym manga. And it's got a lot of like crossover characters between these three. And he's done a new one which I haven't read yet, which is about women MMA fighters. So it's called like this cool little thing. So yeah, why was I talking? Oh, I was talking about how long it takes me to get manga. So yeah, maybe you can do a collab with Otaku Daikon. I have seen some of his stuff. It looks pretty good. I will see. I'll reach out and see what we can do. Yeah, I do need to do more collabs. The issue, like, because I do analysis content, it's not really collab friendly. Before I was like a purely analysis channel, I used to do more variety stuff like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. I used to collab a lot more with people. I used to be on like so many podcasts. Like during lockdown, I was on like 3 podcasts a week. Like I was on Six Atoms is a lot. I'm on a few of Pokesals and quite a few of Eddie's. I used to be very social with other YouTubers at one point. Now I'm just this guy who doesn't talk to anyone. I do talk to some YouTubers. Otaku Dreams, Eddie Hates Anime, Pokesal occasionally. Mr. Valentine, Cider Thoughts. Yeah. Oh, there's other YouTubers I talk to as well. Like I don't know if it's on the channel. Like my job, I'm a video editor. Which don't look at the quality of my videos and the quality of my work. I kind of half-ass my own videos. I don't like flash editing. I think the whole point of my thing is I want you to focus more on what I'm saying than the visuals and stuff, which is why there's no flash editing. But I can do good editing. I edit for quite a few YouTube channels. Anime Anxiety is the biggest channel. They're quite good. KGM Productions. If you like Dragon Ball, go watch KGM Productions. He's doing like a recap of Dragon Ball, and it's the most hilarious stuff. It's amazing. And he also does some analysis in there too. He's an absolute top lad. Should I really be promoting the channels I edit for as their editor? Yeah, it's a bit random. And last one, Pirate Diaries. They do like good documentaries on AniTubers and on mangakas, and they do good content as well. Yeah, so that's enough of me plugging the people I edit for. I'm looking forward to the 2nd season of JJK and the 3rd season of Demon Slayer. Don't you mean 4th season of Demon Slayer? We just had the 3rd season, right? Yep. It's Infinity Castle, isn't it? I haven't read the manga, but it's the final arc, isn't it? From what I hear. Apparently it's quite good. Demon Slayer's carried a lot by its animation, I think. I do enjoy it. I'm not going to stand here and say that it's a masterpiece, but if you enjoy it, good for you. 2nd season JJK. 2nd season JJK is so fun. But the sounds of it, they're going to... I don't know if I could be wrong here, but from what I heard, they're going to adapt all of Shibuya in like 1 season, like 2 core season, but which I always thought that wasn't possible, but clearly they're going to try it. Like I always thought it would probably end with like the Magaraga fight, but clearly they're going to try to do it all. I will say, considering like Shibuya is like JJK is best, that isn't to say the current stuff's bad. The current fight's amazing. I obviously can't judge Culling Games and whatever. I guess we're still in the Culling Games. I can't judge the Culling Games arc till it finishes, but Shibuya is a masterpiece. It's amazing. It's a lot better than everything in season 1, so I'm looking forward to that too. Are you interested in any light novels? I do read quite a bit of light novels. Obviously Monogatari, Konosuba, ReZero, Rascal Dreams, Zaragoza. What other light novels have I read? I've read a couple of web novels. Overlord, which is quite fun. So they're the one thing. I also write light novels. I think there's a link in the description. I'm plugging my own light novels here because I'm a writer. I just finished second season. Oh, that explains it. Yeah, we'll start first season. Yeah, second season. The animation season 2 is absolute insanity. I will say season 3 is nowhere near as good as season 2. I'm surprised it was it was 11 episodes, but then 2 of the episodes were like extra long because it was like 14 episodes. When I always heard like Swordsman Village arc is a really short arc, and it does feel like the pacing drags in season 3. I don't think it needs to be anywhere as long as it was. I haven't read the manga, so I can't comment on if that's accurate pacing, but it feels long. But I will say, yeah, season 3 is pretty good. You can definitely tell though that like season 4 is going to be the last season. Like they rush. I wouldn't say it's a rush story, but like Demon Slayer isn't a long series, and you can kind of tell when you get to season 3. I am genuinely surprised we have this many viewers, if I'm being honest. I didn't expect this many. Currently, I'm watching Naruto Shippuden. It has massive ups and downs. Yeah, I can't speak to Naruto's anime. I've only read the manga. But from what I've heard, the filler's actually not that bad. Like, it's enjoyable filler, rather than, like, One Piece filler, where it's just making everything really long. But yeah, Naruto's pretty good. I think I'm not the biggest fan of the War arc, if I'm being honest. I like the Pain arc. Pain arc's really good. Pain arc's amazing. I like the Obito. I don't mind the Obito stuff, actually. I'm an Obito defender. Mana is alright. The like surprise other villain that happens at the end is not great. Yeah, it's very subs or dubs. I'm nearly every case I'm a sub guy. Not any. I got thing with dubs. I'm not like gonna argue one or the other. You watch whatever the hell you want to watch, and I think like saying dubs are evil is just not great. Because like, I know a guy he's what's the word? He can't. It's not dyslexia. It's another condition. It's similar to dyslexia, but it's something else. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, so he can't really read like subtitles. He just can't. He's too can't for his eyes. He can't keep up. So for him, he has to watch dubs because he hasn't really got another option. So that's fair enough. For me, I just prefer the sound of the Japanese language more, and I like a lot. There's a lot of Japanese voice actors I really enjoy. So for me, it's always going to be subs. There's a few exceptions where I think the dubs are pretty good. What's the word here? Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball's nostalgic. I love the Dragon Ball dub. I think it's amazing. One Piece, I'm quite nostalgic for that dub. Madoka Box weirdly has an amazing dub, in that they have honorifics in it. They say San and Sama and stuff, and I don't think I've ever seen a bloody dub does that, and I really appreciate it. What other good dubs are there? Konosuba has a pretty good dub. Like a lot of these, I wouldn't preference watching these over the sub, but I think they're pretty good. My Hero has an alright dub, so I think there are some good dubs out there. So I don't really care what people do. For me, if you want my preference, I'm a sub guy, but do what you want. You got me interested in watching Madoka Box, but when I went looking for the third season, I felt you cheated me. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's fair. As I know, I'm a broken record. Everyone says this. Why did the anime end before one of the best arcs in manga? But I feel the manga's really good. So I think it's a pretty good anime adaptation overall. But it is what it is. I think the War arc really good thematically. Yeah, I would say the War arc, the themes of the War arc are really good. I really like the themes of the War arc. I'm quite a big defender of the weird reincarnation stuff. I don't mind that. It's more this stuff that happens. There's a lot of stuff that I feel is just fillery, where it just kind of. I think Endo Tensei is an interesting concept because especially for power fantasy stuff, you get everyone fighting dead, like everyone's there, and it's fun. But it does mean I feel there's a lot of characters that are there and they don't do anything. They're just there for the sake of being there. I do feel it's a bit long in parts, but I don't know. I still think it's pretty good. The subs are great, but Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood have good dubs. Yes, I think FMA has some really good dubs too. Last time I watched it with some friends, and they insisted on the dub, so we had to watch it in dub, and it was a pretty fun experience. I don't like American anime voice actors. I prefer Japanese ones. I always watch movies and series with subs, so they don't bother me. Yeah, that's fair enough. There's a few voice actors, American voice I don't mind, but basically, if I watch the series in sub first, it really takes it out of me hearing an American voice come out of their thing. But if it's the other way around, like Dragon Ball or One Piece, it's not as bad. Death Note dub is pretty good. I'll take a word for it. This probably will surprise you. I have never watched Death Note. I've read Death Note, but I've never watched it. And I need to get around to watching it, mainly because people say the second half of Death Note is incredibly rushed. And in the manga, I don't think it is. I could be wrong. I could be wrong here. I feel a lot of the back half of the manga gets cut from the anime. I could be wrong, but I do feel that happens. I also know that the manga has a different ending to the anime, and one of them's a lot better than the other. I won't say which is which, but one has a much better ending. Baccano is a great series. Baccano is an amazing series. Baccano is really, 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 really good. Because Baccano is amazing. Anyone who's read it, it's such a unique watch experience. It's so. I don't want to spoil how it is because it's really fun. But it's also got a sequel series called Durarara. I don't know sequel. It's more like they're in the same universe. But I didn't know they were in the same universe when I watched Durarara. And I was like, this is similar to Baccano. Then Baccano can't show up in it. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I think Durarara is better than Baccano. But I think they're both amazing. In Nekomonogatari Kuro, there is a scene where Araki and his sisters talk about love. I hear that in the novel it was 10 times longer. Yeah, I made a whole video on that topic, on that scene. It is 10 times longer. It is. It's like a third of the novel. I almost fell asleep reading that part. I love that part. It is. I say it in my video. That chapter there is some of the best use of some of the best writing in Monogatari, because it basically, you have a ridiculous amount of time of just two siblings doing sibling stuff. It's not consequential to the plot at all. It's just them talking nonsense, and then you counterpoint that with Hanekawa's family problems, and it really accentuates. Yeah, Hanekawa's family is just, that's not family. This, the first niche which shows this is family, and you get like, it's almost minor. I think it's almost designed to make you fall asleep, because you're like, this is normal. There's nothing weird about it. There's nothing out of the ordinary, because this is what family is. And then you get the Hanekawa stuff. So it's like a nice bit of duality, and I really appreciate it. I think it's really cool. The anime doesn't really do it, but I can understand why, because you have to. I wouldn't want to see like an episode and a half of just that conversation. I can understand why they didn't do that. Was the Death Note anime good to you? How it ended or not? As I said, I haven't watched the Death Note. Yeah, I haven't watched the Death Note anime. With the ending, I think one ending's a lot better, and I think it's the manga. The manga's I don't like the. I don't have the context. I've just seen the ending. I've watched the last episode of the Death Note anime because I knew I had a different ending. I don't like it. I think it really depends a lot of it on how you view Light as a character. I think the anime ending of Light, I don't like it. I think how do I say this? The manga makes the ending a lot less tragic and a lot more. Yeah, I think there's a tragedy to Light's character in the anime that isn't exactly there in the manga's ending. And I, as someone who always will view Light as the villain and not someone we should root for, like obviously we have to root for him as the protagonist, but like I'm never rooting for him. I'm always rooting for Light or Near or anything, and I think that really changes how you're going to view the ending, on how you feel about Light in like as a moral thing, which obviously changes because we all have different moralities. So you know, I was the first Death Note live action movie. Oh, the Netflix one. The one with Netflix one can rot in hell, yeah, and it's really interesting. Okay, I haven't watched it, but from the sounds of it, it's pretty good. I feel like the only person who Death Note hasn't hooked. I first tried watching it when I was younger, and I want to try watching it again. Again, I can't speak. I haven't watched the anime. I think the manga's really good. The manga really hooked me. I feel that, a lot of people say like it gets bad halfway through. I didn't find that at all with the manga, but it could just be an anime thing, or it could just be I like the latter half of it. I think the ending's pretty good too. Yeah, Death Note is. Yeah, the manga makes Light's death more pathetic, while anime makes it obviously. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And I think if you're rooting for Light, I can understand why you'd like the anime more, because it makes him. it makes you, because obviously if you're rooting for him and then the ending makes him seem like worthless piece of shit, it doesn't make you feel great. But if you do think he is a worthless piece of shit, then yeah, you're gonna like the manga anymore. I think both endings have their merits, and I think it's one because it's one of those series where it hinges on your opinion. Basically, it's a whole series that hinges on a moral question of what's your opinion on capital punishment. That's kind of what it comes down to. So it really depends on your view, and I think your different countries, like in America, you're probably gonna have a different opinion to the UK, where we don't have the death penalty. We don't kill people. We just don't do it. Like in like our justice system. So obviously, it changes how you perceive the series. So yeah, I think it's interesting that way. Death Note's a very interesting series to discuss because everyone's got different moral beliefs, which is fun. The only scene I remember enjoying was the potato scene. The potato scene's pretty good. The elves bored you to death. I guess I think with Death Note, if you're not really hooked immediately, nothing really changes. It's kind of the same going through, if that makes sense. I can't believe we're talking about Death Note so much. I didn't expect this series to come up. I can't imagine having a conversation with Nisho Ishin. Judging from his books, I imagine he goes on 50 tangents. Yes, I assume he does. Like, I'm going to go into this in depth in the back 8 Arcanasis coming out in a few weeks, so I guess it's a little bit of a teaser. But probably the thing I like most about back 8 is that Nisho Ishin, he wrote Bakemonogatari during his breaks from writing his other stuff because he just wanted to write characters having fun conversations. How he wrote a masterpiece doing that, I do not understand. That's his merits as a writer. Yeah, so that's pretty good. But it also means that's what makes me appreciate Monogatari a lot, because it is just pure passion. That's why there's so much random crap in it, because as you said, he go on 50 different tangents. Yeah, this is just everything he likes condensed, which is fun. It's also I'm little plug. Sorry, I'm only gonna be quick. One of my light novel series, People of Fate, is very Monogatari inspired. I won't deny that. It's like a shit version of Monogatari. Point is, like, I took his lesson to heart, which is why I wrote a very similar story, because I love Bakemonogatari. So if I want to write a story I love, I'm writing one similar. And it's the only light novel series I write where I do my own cover art for it. And the cover art's shocking. But that's the point, because I want this series to be nothing but me. I want all the creative input to be me, because I want it to be a reflection of just me wanting to write something I want to write. And that was very inspired by Bakemonogatari, which I think is really fun. Did you read Bakuman? I haven't yet. It's on my list. The ending I hear is a bit controversial, I will say. Light is a double-edged sword for me. I like him when he's killing the guilty, but at the same time I despise him for killing innocent people, especially his father. That's a good point. Light, if you agree with Light's philosophies, then I can see how he goes from like someone, yeah, you agree with it, and then you just watch him go deeper and deeper down the hole to the point where he has to keep doing it to justify what he's done in the past, but by doing so he's digging a hole where he can get less and less justifiable. Like for me, again, this is my personal opinion. Everyone's allowed their own opinions here. I'm not judging people on their views. For me, I never agreed with Light's killing, but that's obviously just due to my moral standpoint and probably the way I was raised, the way my country is, where we don't, capital punishment is not a thing. I'm of the opinion. Everyone has I think everyone has the ability to repent, but I don't think everyone has the ability to repent within the time they have on the planet, if that makes sense. Like, I think everyone has the possibility to repent, but I don't think everyone will. I think if you gave like the most evil person ever, and you gave them like 7,000 years, maybe they might repent at that time, but it's not going to happen. I don't know. I'm a very optimistic guy. I have tried to view humanity as optimistically. I've got very naive morals, but that's just me. I like stories of friendship and overcoming adversity and the power of the human spirit. So there we go. What are your thoughts on the Wano arc? The community has a very divided opinion. The Wano arc is interesting. The Wano arc is very interesting. I enjoyed the Wano arc. It's the potential for me. And everyone says, oh yeah, but you had high expectations. I'm like, yeah, but a lot of the expectations were kind of set up. Like, I'm not saying the raid had to fail. I am a Mr. Morge viewer, and you might be able to tell. But yeah, I'm not saying that raid had to fail. I'm not saying that. But what I will say is there was a lack of tension at parts in the arc, and it's a lack of tension that's very unlike a lot of One Piece arcs. How I would have changed, if I could make a small change, I would have had. I guess I'm not. This isn't really much of a spoiler. At one point, Luffy goes down in the fight, and after that, he has his big power up, which is going to be in the anime soon, which everyone's very excited for. But yeah, I think in that moment, that should have been a slight downfall to the arc, where I think all the Straw Hats, because at this point the Straw Hats had all defeated their opponents. But what I thought would have been, this is very heavy. This is just how I would have done it. I would have had that happen, and then all of the Toby Robo, and then I guess Robo just get back up, and then they do their awakenings. It's baffling to me. None of the Beast Pirates awaken. It's baffling to me. But then just have that where we think they win, think they have easy wins, then stuff goes to the wall, and then they awaken, and we get harder fought fights, and I think that'll be better. And then we can have the Sanji King fight, Sanji Zoro versus King and Queen happen. Then a small change. I just think there was a little lack of tension. There's a lot of stuff set up that didn't go anywhere. Zoro's past obviously is a thing that doesn't really go anywhere. We don't like Kaido set up to have this victory laugh. We never see. What other stuff gets set up? There's quite a few stuff that gets set up that I don't think is particularly like they keep going on about interrogating her. Like someone getting captured and tortured, that gets brought up loads at the beginning of the arc and goes nowhere. And I think a lot of the deaths and a lot of the fake out deaths are really bad. This is one of the worst offenders in my opinion for an arc, especially when there's like two characters who have some of the best written death scenes in the series, and then they just live anyway. Yeah, it's a bit baffling to me. I like Kaido a lot. I think he's a really good antagonist. I don't like Yamato much. I think she's kind of pointless. I'll defend the ending of the arc more than most people. I don't mind it. Big Mom goes out like a bitch. Kid and Law don't do much. Yeah, there's a lot to say on Wano. I overall enjoyed it, but I feel it could have been a lot better. But there are a lot of heights of it. Are you welcome? Are you familiar to Welcome to the NHK? I haven't yet, but it is on my list, and I've heard it's pretty good. Have you seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Zero? I have years and years ago. I enjoyed it a lot, but I can't say too much about it because I can't remember much. I remember like, doesn't he like set a guy on fire, like with like a light or something? I can't remember. Like so people gets kidnapped. It's very dark and edgy. The Sekai series by Nisha Rishin is great. The character's amazing. I've heard it's great. Again, it's on my list. There's a lot of stuff. Nisha Rishin writes a lot of stuff, so you know there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to read that I haven't got around to as of yet. Because a lot of the times, like I'm reading and watching stuff a lot, but then I'm also rereading stuff for videos, so it's a bit thing. No comments at the moment. Okay, I think we've discussed all of like the channel stuff. Anyone watching any seasonals, anime seasonals? I'm quite a avid seasonal watcher. I'm not watching that many this season. I'm only watching about 18, which for me is quite low. I think the most I've done is like 47 or something ridiculous. I literally, before the stream started, like I managed to catch the first episode of the vending machine isekai, which is what it sounds like. Yeah, I'm curious what the lowest level we're gonna get with these isekais, because we had like Slime Sakai, Ring Cut with Your Mom, Ring Cut with Your Smartphone, then we got Sword Sakai, and now we've got Vending Machine Sakai. It's actually really enjoyable. I really enjoyed the first episode, but it's yeah, it's interesting. He does set a criminal on fire with vodka and light. Yeah, I remember that scene. Yeah, your favorite character in fiction? Oh, that's a hard one. That's a very hard one, actually. Oh, that's hard. I think it's probably still Gintoki from Gintama. I don't think there's a more inspirational character to me than Gintoki, so it's probably Gintoki. Aragi's up there. Ononoke's up there. Takasugi's up there. Probably Kamigawa's up there too. I'm trying to think of a series. Kazuma. Kazuma's pretty good. Yeah, it's hard. Most of my anime manga, I don't consume much outside of that as much as I used to. I used to consume a lot of, I used to read a lot of Western novels. There's quite a few movie characters I quite enjoy a lot. Rocket Raccoon's probably up there. I think some of the Guardians characters are great. I don't read much comics now either. I used to read a lot of comics as well. Yeah, that's a hard one actually. That's a very hard question actually. Oh, sorry about that. Any series that you think should have ended? I think Pokemon should have ended with Ash's story. Yeah, Pokemon's a cash cow, so it's just going to go on no matter what. If you want Like, I think the Pokemon manga, that does a really good job of training protagonists. I honestly didn't like it that much, but this was years ago. I want to reread it because I think I'll enjoy it more. But yeah, end series I think should have ended. I'm trying to think of a long series that I think go on a bit longer. I'd maybe say the Naruto war arc could be a bit shorter. Bleach could be Bleach could do with being a bit longer actually. I'm curious how the new anime is going to, because I know they said that they're going to change some stuff near the end. So I'm curious to see how Kubo adds some stuff to the ending because the ending's very rushed. Series that are too long. There's plenty of series I can think of that aren't long enough, but in terms of too long, we'll go over past their welcome. Trying to look around for inspiration. I can't think of any. I'll say if some come to mind. Vending machine is much better than smartphone. Yeah, I agree. I agree it's better. I'm about to watch Flame of Recca, Vinland Saga, and Iruma-kun Season 3. I have honestly not watched... I've watched Vinland. I haven't watched the other two, so I hope they're good for you. I hope you enjoy them. Vinland's actually... That's the video I want to bring up. Do I make a Vinland video? From what I'm anime in Finland. Vinland is... Thorfinn's character arc is one of the best I've ever seen in fiction. Like, it's up there with, like, Gintoki and Araki for me. And just... It is godly how good he's written. From what I've heard, though... I'm not a manga reader, but from what I've heard... the next arc, or I don't know if it's the next arc or the arc after, but there's the Baltic Sea arc, and I've heard it's not good because the Baltic Sea arc just what's the word? It just kind of apparently just regresses Thorfinn's character. He learns the same lesson he learned in the Farming Saga, which if true is going to be dreadful because his arc is amazing. His arc's amazing. I hate for that to get kind of backwalked on a bit. But yeah, Vinland's amazing. I might make a video on Vinland. Vinland's really, really, really good if no one's watched it yet. I watched the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Child, love that show. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I really enjoy the original Yu-Gi-Oh! I really enjoy it a lot. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is alright. The dub is very funny. I will say that much. I probably need to give it another crack, and I haven't really watched any other Yu-Gi-Ohs past it, but I've heard 5Ds is pretty good. I also love Sakai series by Nishirishin. Oh, hearing a lot about the Sakai series. It's probably very good then. With the way stories framed, the more you learn about them, the more you hate them. Oh, that's amazing. That sounds great. Oh, I love that. Have you ever seen such Red Spice and Wolf? I have watched Spice and Wolf. I haven't read it yet. Spice and Wolf Season 1 has one of the all-time best endings in anime. It's so good. I love that ending so much. But will I make a video on it? Well, we're getting a new anime soon, aren't we? I don't know when it's coming out. I know it got announced. Maybe if the new anime comes out and people are popular, I might make a video on it. There's definitely a video to be made there. And I do enjoy the series a lot. Dragon Ball Super, maybe. I assume that's into how long it is. I disagree. I'm one of the few people that... I'm a hard Super defender. Is it anywhere near as good as Z? No. Is it trying to be? I don't think so. It's very much more like a... I treat it more just like a comedy slice of life series, because it kind of is. I think Super does a lot of things bad. I think there's a lot of things pretty good. I enjoy it. I enjoy comedic Vegeta. I know people hate it. I enjoy the Tournament Power. I have sat down 3 times and watched the entire Tournament Power in one go. Don't know why. I just really enjoy it. There's a lot I enjoy about Super. I'm a big Super defender. I'm one of the few people that somewhat defend Super Goku. I think his ignorance is played up to comedic effects, and it's bad. He shouldn't be this dumb. But him risking everyone's lives to fight people, I think it is a natural progression of his character, especially if you read the manga. I think Dragon Ball's one of those, Dragon Ball Z especially, the manga versus the anime, they're really, really different. Like, the big one for me is, like, people's views on Gohan versus Cell. In the manga, it's so clear that, like, Gohan would just stomp Cell as soon as he stops holding back, and the Vegeta distracting behind isn't really that important. In the manga, he just does it and he kills him. But in the anime, it's because of the pacing, it's a bit different. But I also feel like the ending of Z, to me, is all about Goku. For me, like, the pivotal moment is Goku asking the favor, resurrect Boo Azub. Because that is, like, the first time in the series he makes a request or a wish that is selfish and not for the sake of saving people. And so, like, that's him wanting to fight strong people, like, even possibly reincarnating Boo because he wants to fight him. And I think that is the essence of the character arc that Goku goes through across the whole series. And so him just wanting to fight strong people, I like that. I think it is the natural progression of his character. But I do think other parts of his characterization, especially his ignorance and him just being a moron, I don't like them, and I don't think they're true. But him risking the whole multiverse to fight Jiren, I think that's very Goku. But, that's a very unpopular opinion. I know that is. And it's a very divisive opinion, but we're allowed our own opinions. Spice Wolf is getting a remake. Yeah, it is. Cool. That's good. Well, I'm going to enjoy that. Vinland Season 2 is amazing. I agree. Season 1's really good. But Season 2... Season 1 was really good. But Season 2 just blows out of the water. It is phenomenal. I have high hopes for Zom 100. Zom 100 this season. What the hell is Zom 100? It might be on my list. Okay, I feel dumb. What the hell is Zom 100? What is this? Is it on my... Oh, Bucket List of the Dead. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this too. Do you plan on rewatching the Rurouni Kenshin remake? Oh, I am conflicted on it. I really am. I've not read or watched Rurouni Kenshin before. I know it's meant to be really good. And this is one of those aspects where... I'm going to be pirating it, so I'm not going to be supporting the author anyway. But, it's do I want to immerse myself in the story when I know the author themselves is a horrible, really bad person? If anyone didn't know, the allegations, CP, and very... he got the lightest sentence possible, and he was very enthusiastic about his hobby and explained his preferences to the cops and didn't seem remorseful at all. It's not great. So I don't know. It's a moral thing for me where, I kind of want to experience the show because I'm sure it's really good, but I don't know. I think it's going to, when the episode 1 drops, I think it'll be very 50-50 whether I feel it, when it drops, whether I click on it or watch it or not. I don't know. And I'm curious what other people's opinions are on watching it. Do you care about what the author did or what? I'm just curious. Oh yes, it is. I couldn't be more excited. Spice Movie is one of my all-time favorite series. Spice Movie is just really good. It's not so much it's not really underrated. I feel a lot of the older anime fans really always appreciate it, but a lot of the newer fans from the last 5 or so years just haven't heard of it. Watch dubbed Ghost Stories. Dubbed Ghost Stories is one of the best animes to watch drunk. Me and my friend watch it drunk quite a bit. It's up there with Kanamichi Rise Up. We watch drunk. That's funny to watch drunk. And bloody reincarnate. What's it called? Working for a God in the Godless World. The seasonal last season. I think the last episode's still yet to come out. I think that comes out today actually. Anyway, yeah, that is a great series to watch drunk as well. I do love drunk anime parties. They're great fun. I only enjoyed Super Broly. Super Broly's amazing. Super Broly's really, really good. It's really good. Superheroes is... I enjoyed it. Especially because it's a Piccolo movie and Piccolo's my favorite character. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super Broly, especially watching that in the cinema, that was a really fun experience. I think that's really good. I think it's probably the best Dragon Ball movie. I think it's better than some of the Z movies. For something non-animated related, ever read anything by Terry Pratchett? When I was a lot younger, I did. I could not remember any of the ones I did read, but I have read some of Terry Pratchett's stuff, and it's pretty good. I don't know if there's any I should check out if you want to recommend some. GT Goku over Super Goku. I don't want to sound like a GT hater, but I just don't like GT. I really don't. I don't know what it is about GT. I just don't. I don't know. It's never really clicked with me. I think it's because I watched it after Super, and I don't know. I don't like Super Saiyan 4 either. I think it's a horrible design, which is obviously controversial because a lot of people love it. But yeah, if you like GT Goku more, that's fine. I'm sorry, man. Just my opinion. That's fair enough. Have your opinion. I respect it to high heaven. Have you seen the One Piece live action teaser? I have seen it. It's better than I thought it would be. But to be fair, I didn't expect much. What I think is, my philosophy is, if I wasn't a One Piece fan, I don't think I'd watch it. I'm going to watch it because I'm a One Piece fan. And I want to see how they're going to adapt the world. But I don't know if it's going to achieve what they want, which is, non-One Piece fans becoming One Piece fans. Because, I don't know, CGI looks a bit ropey in places. I think that's expected. I think they realise the world a lot. I question some weird choices, like Sanji doesn't have his eyebrows, which I think that's fine live action. But then there's other stuff where they've gone so hard into it, like Buggy stuff. I'm like, it's weird they haven't done those. I don't care about Usopp's nose or bloody Luffy's sandals. I don't care about them. It's for the sake of the actors. It's fine. I don't care. I don't mind they've changed up the humor a bit because I feel you can't really adapt One Piece's humor to to live action perfectly. I just don't think it works. So I think they've done the right job. I'm curious about how accurate is the manga. Apparently, it's really accurate, like not cutting content, which surprises me because I kind of expect, like, if we make it to Skypiea, I was fully expecting just to completely cut Skypiea out for the sake of you can tell the story without it, and it's a load of CGI. But you know, it's interesting. I'm gonna watch it. I don't know if it's gonna be the success they want it to be. Where are we up to? It's best to separate art from the artist. Yeah, I definitely think that's if you can do that, fair enough. I probably will. I guess I'm not financially supporting him, so I guess that's something. I was a big fan of the series before the offer got caught, so I definitely will be pirating the reboot, but I'm very excited to see it. Cool. I've heard such good things about the series that I probably will end up watching it. What the artist is not affect the product, right? That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, I guess the thing is, if you watch the series, I guess if you buy the Blu-rays for the series stuff, I guess you are financially supporting him. But I guess if you're pirating it, you're not financially supporting him. Guards, or Weird Sisters are great starting points for two favorite Discworld sub-series. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll add those to the list. Late take, your thoughts on One Piece Film Red? It's alright. I don't like Uta much. It was fine. I don't like how they just kind of like shoved her to be like canonically Luffy's like childhood friend. I didn't like that. The ending's alright. It's just very much a One Piece movie. I think at the end of the day, it's kind of like we obviously noticed this in Strong. Was it Strong? No, not Strong World film. What the hell was the last film? The one with Bullet in. The one where they just reveal like a massive like bit of lore dump that like the whole like Laughdale reveal. That is really cool in the manga, but it was spoiled in the movie, and they spoiled like Shanks' origins in the movie too. So I'm like, I kind of feel like it's Oda getting like forced to shove stuff into his movies to make them more of like a must watch. But it was alright. It's a One Piece movie. Most One Piece movies are fun. Also, I'm gonna have to go now. So I have a last film recommendation. Hyoka. God, man, you recommended Hyoka, and it's one of the best animes I've ever watched. Hyoka's amazing. I'm going to Annie's best word to date. Anyway, that's been fun. Thanks, most of them. You've been a loyal subscriber. Have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. I only sell the high seas only because I like saving money. Fair enough. Well, the thing with piracy is that like if you watch on like streaming services like Crunchyroll and stuff, it's not like it's more the streaming services pay for the licenses, but it's not like you watching the thing actively gives money to the creators, if that makes sense. So that's why I mainly buy manga. I buy a lot of manga because that's I know is directly directly supporting the author. I quite like that. I buy a lot of merch and figures and stuff, so that's fun. But yeah, I for watching stuff, I do like I don't buy Blu-rays because they're expensive. If you want them on Godfrey Blu-rays, yeah, good luck with that. And weirdly, that's still in Japan. That's a lot of how they measure the popularity of series, how many Blu-ray sales it gets, and who's buying Blu-rays these days. So yeah, I don't have any issue with people pirate. I feel for me like it's a bit different. I guess with manga, like a lot of manga I don't pirate. Like Scanlate, I just read it the official if it's readily available. It's like anything from Shonen Jump. But like I said this earlier, but like if I have to wait like 4 years for a chapter to get translated officially, I'm gonna pirate it. As simple as that. I like to focus on Shanks' failure as a mentor. Yeah, I like that. I think it adds a flaw. It adds a lot of depth to Shanks' character, which I wouldn't say is needed because we barely know him in the manga, so we haven't had the focus on him in order to we haven't had the focus on Shanks to explore that in the main story. But yeah, I quite like it. I think it's a pretty fun aspect of his character. I'm curious how it might tie into his origins a little bit. We'll see how that kind of factors into it. I wish we had finished a Full Metal Panic. I have not started it yet, but it sounds good. It does seem like a real shame. I'm quickly going to go to the toilet, so I'll be back in 1 moment, which means I get to do this. See, look.
Yo, microphone check, make it a microphone check. Give it a microphone, I make it a microphone dead. Don't step to me, newbie, I can truly be. Could've put time, shout out a guy that I would ever wanna try to battle rap. Snap, crackle, pop, mind fried to a crisp, make an MC into a wide-eyed lunatic.
Yeah, isn't that cool? That we got the little pretty cool stuff. Sorry, that I enjoyed it. I thought like doing these stream setup layouts was hard. It's not. It's really easy. So that's fun. I will say, guys, I'm really enjoying the stream so far. This is my first proper stream. I don't know how it would be. I hope I'm not too rambly. I always feel I'm a bit rambly, but I guess for a stream, that's kind of what we want. You can probably tell why I script all my videos, because if I was unscripted, it'd just be a mess of a video. Anyone else got any more questions? I don't know when we're going to... I think we're going to end the stream somewhat soon. Maybe give it another half an hour, something like that. So if anyone's got any questions, fire them away. Because I think we've kind of talked about all the channel updatey stuff that I wanted to talk about. And we've got some good recommendations for what kind of videos people want to see on the channel. And I've got some cool recommendations to watch and read. So that's pretty fun. Anyone like the setup, by the way? This is just my bedroom, as you can see. Yeah, I'm not getting a green screen and stuff. It's too much effort. No questions. God's sake, come on! It's a stream, guys. Got to be interactive, or I'll have to ramble about something. What can I ramble about? I don't know what to ramble about, guys. What can I ramble about? Have you read there? Thank God. Have you read Great Teacher Onizuka or Shonen Junai Jumi? I haven't read the first one. I have read Great Teacher Onizuka, unless that's the Japanese name of it, which I don't think it is. I have read Great Teacher Onizuka. I'm rereading it at the moment. Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really, really good. I think there's a good analysis video to be made there. I don't know if I'm the person to make it, because I don't think I understand the series well enough, but it is a very good series. What are your thoughts on the Fate or Nasu's works? We talked about Fate a bit earlier in the stream, but I love Fate. I think Fate Zero is the pinnacle of Fate. I think it's great. Yeah, I think a lot of Fate's good. The new Fate anime looks really fun. Oh, the mic is too low. I have to hear my... Oh, sorry about that. How are we looking? That might be a bit better. Tell me if it's still too low. Sorry about that. What? Yeah. Okay, it is Onizuka. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, so Onizuka's really good. What are your thoughts on Fate? Yeah, Fate's good. Fate Zero especially is very, very good. Fate has ups and downs, but yeah. Yeah, the volume is out. Okay, guys, you should have said this sooner. I don't want to give a bad experience. I don't know why my mic's not picking stuff up very well. It's probably because the gain's a bit low. If I up the gain a bit, that might make it sound a bit better, possibly. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, what are we talking about? Ryuji in high school. Yeah, it's Onizuka and Ryuji in high school. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, Fate's good. I'm curious of Fate / Samurai, actually. What the hell is Fate Samurai? What the hell is Fate Samurai? What is this? Oh, yeah, okay, Fate Samurai is a thing. I didn't know about this. It looks like it was to get a Kun. Looks fun. Okay, that does look pretty fun. Cool. Yeah, it's good. Cool. What are we talking about? I can't remember what we're talking about now. I think that was the lighting looking. Is that a bit better? Yeah. Sorry about the webcam quality. My webcam is pretty horrendous. Because I don't do webcam like videos, I didn't feel the need to invest. It depends if we do any more streams. So yeah, I might check into Ghost in the Shell someday. Ghost in the Shell is pretty good. It's been a long time since I've watched it or read it. So possibly in the future. Do you play Fate Grand Order? I don't play Fate Grand Order. I don't want to get sucked down the gacha game rabbit hole. Is my issue with it. A lot of my friends play it. Yeah, it's obviously there's anime adaptations of it too, which is fun because they like adapted the first part, then the ending, and then now they're going backwards. It seems. But yeah, here's a fun story about Grand Order. I'm a cosplayer. I do a pretty mean Archie Gilgamesh cosplay, and I was at Comic-Con, and I was going around, and I met this guy, and he was like, what did he say? He was like, wait a minute, I need you to do something. And I was in character, so I was like, or what did I say? I was like, Be careful, Mongol. My time's worth more than yours. Something like that. I get very in character on Gilgamesh. Anyway, I was basically going like, yeah. And then he took ages. Like, what is he going to do? They pulled up bloody fake Grand Orders. Like, can you do my gacha pulls for me? I was like, God's sake. Very fun experience. He was a really nice guy. That was like, when was that? That was last October? Yeah. Gilgamesh cosplay is great. All the small Asian girls want photos of me. It's really fun. Might check in, what are we up? Fate Grand Order. Oh, it has Musashi in it. Musashi's a woman in Fate, right? A Fate woman, aren't they? Which is fun. Does that mean Sasaki fought a woman and died? That's pretty funny. Oh wait, no, I can't remember. No, Sasaki's weird, isn't he? Sasaki is kind of... Isn't Sasaki like one of those fake servants where he didn't actually exist in universes? I don't really get how a lot of fake stuff works, because like most of them are gods, but then gods did exist, but then Sasaki Kyojuro didn't exist for some reason. I don't know. You will be into gacha and you will like it. If I get into gacha, I'm into gacha, and that is a I don't know. Can I afford to be devoting my time to gacha games? Like one of my friends, he's a big into is it Azalain ever? Not Azalain. What's it called? The ship one, the one where the characters are like ships, and the bigger their breasts are, the bigger the ships, or the lollies like the destroyers and stuff. What's that one called? Is that Kantai Collection, or is that the other one? Anyway, that one has a gacha game. He's obsessed with it. Gacha games like a black hole, yes. But I know people that are obsessed with their gacha games, which is why I'm worried. If I do, I guess Grand Order's a good way to start, because I like Fate a lot. I watched Ghost in the Shell recently. I was surprised. The hype for it is insane for what it is. Yeah, I think the hype is very much because it's very much one of those it's very not westernized. It's very popular in the West, but like not as an anime, if that makes sense. Like I think it's popular in the same way like Akira is popular, where it's just a popular movie in the West, but not by anime fans, if that makes sense. Azur Lane. Oh, it is Azur Lane. Okay, what did I think Azur Lane was then? I don't know. Yeah, okay, it's Azur Lane. That's ship one. Fun. You're gonna make Seth spend €100 on a PNG. No, what are you doing? Don't do that. Especially, yeah. I spend enough money on figures, guys. You should see my figures. Oh, I guess I can talk about the second channel. Does anyone remember the second channel? Does anyone watch the second channel? Does anyone know I have a second channel? Because I do. It's Seth's figure collection, which hasn't had a video in like a year and a half now. Yeah, the issue with that is like, I like figure collecting, but like I don't like recording unboxings, particularly. It's not like I don't enjoy it much, and I just want to enjoy my figures. And they don't get views anyway, so you know. But yeah, I have a pretty insane figure collection, guys. It's worth a lot of money. Yeah, I think I mentioned on the stream earlier, but if anyone didn't hear, I did like drive like an hour and a half down to Bournemouth to meet my friend to buy a figure of him, which I spent like 250 quid on. And the figure's like this big. It's tiny. It's I would get it out, but it's in my display case. It's like a nice, and it's expensive. Yeah. If you want a money sink, get into figure collecting. It's bloody expensive. Yeah, it's really expensive. You spend so much money on figures. It's insane. Add more to the gacha. Oh, God's sake. Do you usually play lots of games in general? No, I'm not really. I used to be quite a big gamer at one point in time. I just don't really game now. I don't know why. Like, I used to be a massive Halo fan. Like, I was an insane amount of Halo. A massive Halo fan. I used to play so much Halo. A lot of COD. I used to play a lot of Fighter Z when that came out. I used to Minecraft a lot at one point as well. Yeah, I used to play game a lot. I just don't really game these days. I don't know why. I have a gaming PC. Well, it is technically a gaming PC. I don't game on it though. Because I brought it off my friend when he upgraded for a pretty steal price. But yeah, I don't really game. Sorry about that. Did you know that Nisha Richard wrote Volume 2 of Zaragoza in 3 days? That does not surprise me, if true. That really does not surprise me. That guy's an absolute machine. That is ridiculous, though. Look, because as someone who writes myself, getting a volume done in, a couple of months is bloody hard enough. Thoughts on Rosario Vampire for both the anime and manga? I have not watched or read it, I am afraid, so I can't comment too much on it. It's got vampires in it. I'll tell you that much. Judging by the name. Probably got more vampires or less vampires than. That's a weird thing. Why are there so many vampire animes? There's so many. Like, there's The Vampire Dies in No Time recently. There was, what's it called? The Vampire Cosmonaut? Was it Arena the Vampire Cosmonaut? Which is what it sounds like. It's the Russians sending a vampire into space. Interesting show. There's a lot of vampire stuff. There's, what else was there? There was what was it called? The one that had like the very fit men as the two MCs, and everyone was like shipping them together. I can't remember what that one's called. There's that one too. Oh yeah, Monogatari is a vampire story as well, isn't it? What am I getting messages about? Nothing interesting. Cool. But yeah, are you people enjoying the stream so far, by the way? Because I'm enjoying this far more than I thought it was. So I might make this semi-regular, maybe a monthly thing. We'll see. I'm quite enjoying this. What do you think about Regular Round 9? Oh, I've been waiting for someone to ask. I wanted to talk about Round 9, but I was like, I don't know if anyone here is a Regular Ragnarok fan currently in the chat. So I was looking forward to getting talks about this. Round 9, I think, is shaping up to be very, very interesting. So far, I've really, really, really enjoyed it. I think predicting the winner of this round is interesting. Personally, I think the gods win this one. Mainly just narratively, it makes sense. I don't think the gods getting humanity getting the lead again. That just seems unlikely. But then you obviously have the Greek gods always losing, so maybe Apollo will lose. Shush cat. I don't know. It's interesting. And then you got Leonidas's Valkyrie's name means spear, and we know what happens to spear users in Regular Ragnarok. I don't know. I really love Leonidas. He's easily now a top 5 character for me. He's amazing. I'm a bit worried that what we got of his flashback last chapter is shh cat. Oh, my cat is nagging me. I'm worried that is just going to be his back. We're not going to get much more because it obviously ends with his death in the Battle of Thermopylae or whatever it's called. So hopefully we get another flashback to him earlier in life with his wife, because his wife was very important to him in reality. Apollo, I'm really interested. I'm curious if we get Artemis. I hope we get Artemis showing up. But Apollo's all about beauty and stuff, and the beauty of death. So that would be really fun. I'm really curious to see how the end of the match is, because I'm pretty the end of the match is going to play into this beauty of death kind of aspect. So that's fun. I'm rooting for Leonidas, but I think Apollo will win. Is my thoughts on round 9. Oh god, we got loads of comments now. This is great for me having stuff to talk about. What do you think? Everyone likes vampires. Everyone does love vampires. That's why Twilight was so popular. Nishiwishin also wrote the Death Note light novel. He did write the Death Note light novel, and it's really good. He did write that. That's very true. Rosario Vampire manga, nice art. Oh well, I'll have to read it for the art. It's like anyone read BAM or Blame, whatever people call it? There's there is a plot to it. There is a story to it, but there's no dialogue. It's just these really beautiful art pieces of really abstract alien stuff, and it's so fun to just read it. But what the hell happens, I do not know. Suruga's mother is an interesting character. Does she appear in a later novel, or is it just Zoku? As far as I'm aware, at least on the translated stuff. Cat, will you clear off? Stop meowing at me. Yeah. As far as as far as I'm aware, she doesn't appear again. But yeah, she's a very interesting character. Watch my video on her. Yeah, I think she's a very, very interesting character. But I think she's in it as enough as she needs to be. Yes and yeah. I could not remember what I asked. I think maybe it's enjoying the stream. Bloodlad's an interesting ass series. Vampire Hunter D, Vampire Princess Miu, Shakti. Yeah, there's quite a bit. What was that? There's another Vampire Princess one, isn't there? No. I'm thinking of those. Oh, it's not a vampire. There's a weird demon. It was an anime original a couple of seasons ago. It was Japanese demon vampire things, and one of them had an umbrella crossbow. And then it's the same season that Mars Red came out. Mars Red is a really weird vampire anime. This is Sparta. Yes, it is. Leonidas is sick as hell. I can't speak how much I love his design. I know people don't like his design, but I love his design. I love his design. His design's amazing. I will be cosplaying him. I've got the cosplay in the works. I'm really looking forward to my Leonidas cosplay. It's gonna be sick. But yeah, Leonidas is a chad. He's also we know he's strong as hell, because during round 3, when Poseidon rocks up, Brunhild's like struggling between 3 people to fight. To go fight one's Qin Shi Huang, who, as we know, is an absolute powerhouse and is amazing. I know people don't like him. I love him. Great character. Potentially my favorite character in the series now. Nostradamus, who we know is really strong, and then Leonidas. Those 3 are obviously powerhouses. So I'm excited to see what more he can do apart from his weird shield thing. God, that shield thing annoys me because as I'm cosplaying him, so I'm going to build a shield. That's easy. Do I make it pop out with the blades now? It's possible. I could do it. Like I've built, I guess teaser. I built Tesla's. I've cosplayed Tesla. I'm hopefully taking some photos of him tomorrow. But I've got the armor and it's got working lights and it's got the back halo. It glows. It's got the fans. It's really cool. So I've been testing my electronic works. So yeah, the shield's annoying because it'd be really easy to make the shield. But then, do I want it to pop out and do the blades? I don't know. We'll see. Olympus has lost a lot. Yeah, which is why I think it isn't just predictable they lose again, because we'll be like, surely they can't lose another time, but then at the same time, like, maybe we'll do the trend, so we're like double guessing. So the trend doesn't really make it lean one way or the other. Do not bring up Twilight, for the love of God. Yeah, I've never watched Twilight. I've not watched Twilight, so I can't speak on it. All I know is Robert Pattinson is an amazing actor. He's in 2 of my favourite movies of all time, The Lighthouse. If you've not seen The Lighthouse, watch The Lighthouse. Such a good film. He's also in The Batman, which is really good. Which one of the Monogatari male characters is your favourite? There's not many of them, is there? Well, there's Gaian, there's Toei. Who else is a milfy character? Is Kishot a milfy character? I guess there's that one from the Monster season. Who else is there? I guess Aragi's mum, but she's barely in it. Well, if we're going out of them, I guess Kishot. Kishot's the best of those characters. I guess Kagali's maybe up there. Yeah, probably Kishot. Zephyr, as a Monogatari connoisseur, do you believe Shinobu is a German or French? Oh. I don't know. It's one of the French. I think I lean more to French, if I'm being honest. But considering the time period that she would have been living around, I'm pretty sure France wasn't a country then. My like Central European history is a bit ropey, I will admit. It's not where my history knowledge lies. How is Vampire Night? What the hell is how is Vampire Night? What is Vampire Night? God, I feel like I'm an idiot with some of this stuff. So I'm like, I don't know what people are going on about. Is Vampire Night a thing? What's Vampire Night? Vampire Night is a manga series that I have not read. It's a 2008 one. I'm surprised I haven't heard of this. If it's a somewhat popular one from the 2000s. Okay, I'll have to add that to the list to watch then. Yeah, maybe French. When was Kishot? I'm trying to work out. When the hell was Kishot like a person? If you know what I mean. Before, when did she become a vampire? I'm gonna work this out, guys. To be fair, like I'm pretty sure a country gets mentioned in Monogatari at one point that doesn't exist. I mean, technically, if we're going by off-season, like, no countries exist at one point in time, so, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, so Vampire Night, I have not read or watched, so I can't comment, but I'm sure it's very good. Okay, so she's like it was like 600 years ago. How old is France? Okay, France might have been around 600 years ago. I thought she was older than that. Shows how good my, like, off-the-top knowledge is. Okay, no. France is not. No, wait, no. Okay, yeah, France was around back then. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to go French. It could be a Monogatari made-up country that doesn't exist. Very, very possible. Okay, no one's commenting anything. So, my instinct is to go back to talk about Record Ragnarok because I like discussing it. So until someone comments anything, we're going to talk about Record Ragnarok for a bit. Because clearly there are people here that enjoy it. What are people's matchups for the rest of the series? I'm curious. I'm very, 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 very curious what people's matchups are going to be. Okay, we'll get back to the matchups. God, Balkan Explorer has to put some history in the chat. The French kingdom existed for a long time. Germany divided into the late 19th century, but there was multiple German kingdoms in the Holy Roman Empire. Yes, I knew about the Holy Roman Emperor stuff because I quite know that. It's something I've read a history book on it. Okay, so cool. That's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go French, but I don't know. It could be either. Yeah, I know my British history pretty well. Is the off-season of Monogatari worth reading? Yes, it's really good. Yeah, I just read it. It's great. It's really fun because if you go straight from the anime, the first thing you read is is Sadachi Fiasco, which is one of the most mental off the balls parts of the whole series because it's Okura narrating it and it's insanity. So it's so fun if that's your first experience reading Monogatari. It's a real fun time. But yeah, there's like the first volume. Like I think I would always put some of the off-season novels near the bottom of my overall rankings, but that's more because they're not, the stories within them don't connect and over arc. They're just fun individual arcs, so I can't really rate them over like a Hana Monogatari. But I think there's some really fun stuff like because Tsuruga Bonehead is also in the first one. That's really fun. That's Ogi and Cambry doing stuff. It's pretty fun. And then you have Suki Undo, which is hilarious. One of the funniest Monogatari arcs. She is German. What I think OP is called Mein Schatz. Oh, that's a good point. Mein Schatz is German. Oh, maybe she's German then. But isn't like... I swear the name of... Yeah, but isn't her arc in Wazzy Monogatari got French in it? Isn't that one called French or something? I don't know. I think it is. I'm not sure. Maybe it's ambiguous. I don't think Nisha Rishi knows that much about European history, to be honest, so I don't know if it's ever been planned. I like how this is our discussion, is the nationality of Kishot. Kishot gives off that French femme fatale vibes. She does. She really does. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. Could be either. Okay, so we've come to an impasse where we don't actually know where Kishot's from. Central Europe. We know that much. Yeah, it's definitely going to be France or German. I don't know. Something like that. You ever watched Pretty Boy Detective? Pretty Boy Detective is amazing. That show makes me question my sexuality. It makes me question how these characters at the age they are. They look so old. It's like Tokyo Revengers, where the characters just look like they should be like a couple years older than... Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, Pretty Boy Detective is really good. I really enjoy that. I hope we get season 2 because it's really enjoyable. There are a bunch of French songs. There is a better French songs as well. And there's also German. I don't know. It's the region, I guess. Can we talk about the soundtrack of Kizu? Kizu has the best soundtrack. It has a really weak opening. Like, technically, Kizu Monogatari has an opening song. It technically has one. Because there is an opening sequence with music playing. But yeah, like... even if that got added, that would always be, like, the bottom of people's rankings, I'm sure. Because it's alright. But yeah, Kizu's got some great music. Obviously, it's... Oh, what's the music called where Episode fights Aragi? Because, what's it called? Because that's amazing. I'm doing an Episode cosplay later this year with Giant Cross, so that'd be fun. I've kind of worked out how I'm going to make the Giant Cross, but that's going to be fun. What's next? My friend started watching Record of Ragnarok. She said Aphrodite's breasts were too big. They are massive. I was trying to argue that it's fan service, but was doing an awful explaining it. Yeah, that's kind of it though. Aphrodite doesn't do anything. Well, Aphrodite originally was going to be a fighter. She was going to fight in round 6 in the initial draft. She was a round 6 fighter, which is pretty fun. Bad Bully, that's what it's called. Thanks. Yeah, right. Aphrodite was originally a fighter. Weirdly, Babe Ruth, the baseball player, he was on the roster instead of Rasputin, and instead of Sasaki, it was what's his name? Minamoto no Yoshitane, is that his name? There was another samurai who was going to be on the roster at one point as well, but I can't remember who. But yeah, that's pretty fun. But yeah, how you can say it is just fan service. Also, if your friend started watching it, tell them to read it. Don't watch the anime. The anime's awful. The music's the only good part of the anime. It looks dreadful. Bad Bully, yeah. Yeah, Kizumona has a great soundtrack. It really does. Bakuman takes the cake, though. Yeah, if I had to rank the soundtracks, probably Bake's best, then Kizu, yeah. I have high hopes for Soji Okuta. Thank you. Honestly, the bloody hate boner people have for Okuta, I do not understand. People despise him for being another Japanese swordsman. Not like we have like 6 spear users. It's like, considering, yeah, I know he has a, what's it called? What's the Shinshingumi manga called? Requiem of the Shinshingumi by the same author. I haven't read it yet. I know quite a bit about Shinshingumi history, so it's pretty fucked. Like, I know in the manga, Kondo is just like a really nice guy. Kondo is a horrid, manipulative piece of shit in real life. He was horrible. He just ran a cult, like a cult, taking children and forcing them to fight. If you ever read the history of the Shinigami, it's horrible. The Shinigami was horrific. It was an inescapable cult. But yeah, I'm really excited for Okuta. I think he's fighting Odin, which is a really unpopular opinion. Because, number one, people think Nostradamus will fight Odin, or they want Simra to fight him. I think Okuta. I like the duality of, cocky, young, murderer kid, and then Odin. I think that's going to be the penultimate match with Brunhild as his Volond, and then he loses, and then Gaul has to, fight in the final round. That's what I think. But yeah, Okuta, good sound from Okuta Love, because Okuta's fun. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I don't know if this is in the spin-off, in his own manga, I don't know, but in real life, he was said to have this special move where he would not only behead you, but he'd cut your shoulders off as well, like that. So I kind of hope that's in the manga, because that's pretty fun. He was also called the greatest swordsman of his time, which is really, really impressive. Yeah, Okuta was really cool in real life. People say, oh yeah, but he died of illness. I'm like, great, like that's not a flex. In real life, Qin Shi Huang almost got assassinated because his guards weren't armed, and he ran around his throne room because he couldn't get his sword out of his sheath, like an idiot. And then a musician came to play for him, yeah, and he thought the musician was an assassin, so he made the musician cut his own eyes out. And then the musician still tried to kill him, but they were blind, so they missed. And then he died by drinking mercury because he thought it was the potion of youth. And then all his retainers were half across China, so they had to pretend he was still alive by feeding the corpse fake food until they got him back to the capital to stop a riot happening. Like, Qin Shi Huang in real life is a pussy. He also, people say united China. He didn't unite China. His ancestors united China. He did like the tiniest amount at the end and brought it all together. Like, I love him in the manga. In real life, he was just a tyrannical asshole who wanted to be immortal. Musashi Miyamoto. What was that in relation to? Who was going to be the fight? He wasn't going to be on the roster in Record Ragnarok. I don't believe he was ever meant to be on the roster. Bakemono piano soundtracks so nostalgic for me. Oh, they really are. It's why I know I'm really tempting fate with copyright by putting Monogatari tracks in my Monogatari videos, but I just love the soundtrack so much that I'm always going to put them in there. In second season of Monogatari, before Hajikuji went to hell, Shikazaragi, I thought it was weird. It is weird. I've said this before, like the Lolicon stuff, I don't like it. I think there's artistic merit to it. I do have thoughts on this. I don't know how I'd explain them. I'll definitely cover them when I eventually get to the arc analysis of that. What's it called? Only Monogatari. Only Monogatari. But it is weird. I get it symbolically. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. My favourite part of it is that Ononoke is the one to give that shoulders up, because that says a lot about Ononoke's character, which I really enjoy. But yeah, I agree, it's a bit of a weird scene. I know, right? Okuta is cool. Tuberculosis, that was the one. Yeah, Okuta was just a badass. He wasn't the most badass of the Shinshigumi, though. There was another guy who I can't remember the name of that was really badass. Shinpachi was badass. The thing is, the Shinshigumi were awful. They were horrible people. Like, because they had this code they had to follow. If you've watched Gintama, you might know this code. But this was a real bloody thing where if you ran away from an opponent, you had to kill yourself. If you want to leave the Shinshigumi, you had to kill yourself. If you showed cowardice in battle, you had to kill yourself. If you lost a battle, you had to kill yourself. So that was fun. And it was enforced. Kondo made them do it. Him and Hijikata made them kill each other. Like, one guy escaped. And so they sent Okuta, I think it was Okuta, they sent someone to hunt him down, yeah. And they brought him back and said, you got to kill yourself now, mate. And so the guy was like, this guy was basically Okuta's big brother. They weren't related by blood, but that's basically what their relation was. And he was like, Okuta was like, Okuta, can you cut my head off for me? So Okuta had to go and cut his big brother's head off in front of Kondo. And Kondo then was like, that was the most splendid seppuku I've ever seen. I'm like, you just made your mate kill himself. They were childhood friends. Yeah, it was just a weird murder cult. It was a murder cult, the Shinigami, a murder cult. Speaking of Chin, did you read Kingdom? Saito Hajime, that's it. You seem to know a lot about the Shinigami too, which I like. I did not know Chin was in, he's in Kingdom. Great. I've been meaning to read Kingdom for so long, but that's really going to motivate me, because Shinji Huang is cool. Yeah. Sonny, what's your opinion on Okuta's opponent? Who do you think, what's your opinion? Who do you think is going to fight? Or anyone, what do you think Okuta's opponent is? Because I see a lot of A lot of people see Loki. I think Loki versus Nostradamus, a lot of people think Loki's too weak to fight Nostradamus. But then they have identical introduction scenes. Like, they have introductions. Like, they both introduce pretending to be someone else. So, I don't know. I don't know. That seems like something to me. We also need to have a draw at some point, unless a human betrays. Because there's no way a human's just not going to fight. That's just weird. I think Nostradamus' match will be the draw match. Mainly because I think Nostradamus will lose on purpose. This is real headcanon, but I can see Nostradamus drawing on purpose, because I think he'll draw on purpose. Mainly because he obviously has his prophecies. But how is that going to factor in? Because we've had multiple characters who can see the future through fighting, be it Buddha or Sasaki. So how's Nostradamus going to do it? I'd quite like it if he just knows everything that's happened in the match and it's not revealed till the end. And either he kills them both, making the draw, because the draw, for some reason, is required for the humans to win. Or he does the draw and then secretly just survives and he does technically win the match, but he makes it look like a draw. That would be cool. I don't know much about Japanese history, so the stream is fun to listen to. Yeah, Japanese history is really fun. I really enjoy. I love history. History is really fun. Yeah, Japanese history is fun. So yeah, I think Nostradamus versus Loki, which also means I'm just going to quickly throw it out. I think Simo is going to fight Susanoo. I think Gintoki will fight our mystery fighter, be it what's his name, Siegfried or another god. I don't know. I can't find anyone to match Gintoki with. Rasputin versus Anubis seems less likely to me now that Simo versus Apollo isn't a done thing everyone thought. So I think the idea of Anubis versus Rasputin seems less likely now. I don't know, because like obviously you can date God of Death, man who never dies, but then at the same time you can have Nostradamus, the criminal, and then Anubis the judge. That works. Then you can have Simo, the guy who killed 300 people in war, and Anubis God of Death. You can do a lot of matchups there. So that's what I do. I do Okuta Odin, Gintoki Mystery Fighter, Simo Susanoo, and then who are the other two? Anubis Rasputin. That's what I think. But yeah, so Japanese history. Japanese history is pretty fun. Yeah, especially Shinigami. Shinigami history is really fun. Chinese history is pretty fun too. Any of the Warring States stuff is pretty fun. If anyone's ever knows about what's his name? Yu Fei. The Chinese general, he was so interesting, really interesting guy. Like he like his mom like tattooed like show respect to your country or whatever on his back, and then like he got like falsely accused of treason and he was in court, so he just took his bloody clothes off, showed them the words on his back, and the judge was like, so, yeah, he's innocent. Absolute Chad, that guy, absolute Chad. So Okuta versus Anubis. That's an interesting one. Do you have any reasoning for that? That's quite interesting. Odin versus Nostradamus, I see a lot. I think Nostradamus destroyed the Bifrost, so that is relevant. And obviously, we know Nostradamus is strong as hell, and Odin's probably the strongest god left, so I think that's a fair matchup. I think because I caught up to the manga when round 7 ended. So I've only been present for 2 rounds starting, and I predicted Odin, Tesla versus Beelzebub correctly, but I did not predict Leonidas versus Apollo. So I don't know. I feel my predictions, I don't know, they could be wrong. I think it's more fun if they are wrong. I think it's a lot more fun. Yeah, this just kind of turned into a regular actual stream, hasn't it? But yeah, I've enjoyed talking about the Shinsengumi. Shinsengumi are great. I really can't stress how fun they are. Horrible. It's a really tragic and horrible part of history. It really is. The Edo period was not great in Japan. It really wasn't. But it's fun in like retrospect. It's like, what is it? Time plus tragedy plus time equals comedy is how they say it. How many viewers have we actually got? I'm curious. I haven't been keeping track. Oh, there's only 7 people watching. Brilliant. I had no concept of how many people we had left. I'm probably going to end the stream in a little bit. Probably in the next 5 minutes. So if anyone's got any last questions, then I'd fire them off now. Otherwise, I'll probably be ending the stream soon. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you, of the 7 people still here, would you, if I did another stream at some point, would you stick around? Do you like these? Any suggestions for what to make them more fun? We could do some interactive stuff, do some tier lists or some brackets, stuff like that. People were interested in that. But yeah, I'll probably call it my time about 8 o'clock, so in about 4 minutes. So yeah, I guess summarize everything. Because the whole thing was meant to be channel update. Monogatari, we're going to be continuing the arc analysis, and we're going to do Musubi video. Chainsaw Man, I will probably do a Aki video. I'll try to get the 7 Deadly Sins videos out. We might do a Spice and Wolf video. We're going to do more Madark Books videos, and maybe try a Gintama video. So that's kind of like what we've kind of worked out. There is something I do want to say of Madark Books I noticed, and it's about teens going through puberty. I have seen someone talk about this, and I kind of make a video on it because it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's definitely because it's a coming of age story, and obviously there's when you become an adult, you lose your skill. There's definitely something there to it. I think I touched on it in a video, but I haven't really delved into it. But there's definitely something there. Monaco Dago, we'd definitely watch another stream. Oh, that's good. Balkan Explorer, I liked your stream. Thank you. Theo Thompson, why is a country ball here? Oh, great. This joker's here. This guy's a twat. Good. I'm glad we're ending the stream in a few minutes because this twat's here. Don't tell me the Balkans are from an anime. God's sake. Yeah, this guy's pretty funny. But yeah, so if that's everyone's last few questions of the stream, someone needs to make an anime about us. I'm surprised there isn't an anime about the Balkans. There's an anime about most stuff. Is there any good Balkan stuff? As a Croatian, is there any good Croatian media that I should be checking out? Odin is going to be strong. Nostradamus is the only one I see capable of fighting him. That's fair enough. I expect Odin. I think Odin's going to win, which is why I think he's fighting Okuta. I also just like Murder Hobo Child versus Murder Hobo Old Man. I think that's pretty funny. But yeah. Also, I think Okuta could be really, really strong. He's been around so long now, since the end of round 4, that I think he's going to have a significant opponent, which is why I don't think Loki. Great stream. Keep up the amazing vids. Also, once again, I can't recommend Tasami Galaxy enough. It's on the list. We're going to be checking it out. It would be Kino. What the hell is Kino? Well, that's Kino. No idea. Okay, yeah. Cool. I like to stream. Will you stream again? I will try to stream again. Yeah. This was very much a test to stream. I've wanted to try it for a while now, and clearly people have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed myself. I was worried that I wouldn't be very good on camera, but I think I may be a bit rambly, but I feel I'm cut out to be a streamer. Unlike the 7 people that put in the poll that I'm not cut out for streaming. But it's not going to be like a weekly thing or anything like that. Maybe like once a month, something like that. Maybe do some topic streams. Well, I'll see what we want to do. But I'm glad that people have enjoyed this. And I'm getting hungry and I want to have my dinner soon. So I'm probably going to call it now. These kids and their damn Zoomer speak. For God's sake. Like, what is Zoomer? What is Zoomer Gen Z? What is Zoomer? Because I'm Gen Z. What is Zoomer? What is Zoomer? What is Zoomer? Zoomer is Gen Z. Oh, okay, I'm a Zoomer then. Brilliant. I'm just Gen Z though. I'm only just Gen Z. I was born in the year 2000. So I'm on the cusp of millennial. I'm like 1 year out from millennial. Yeah, I'm 23. If anyone's interested in that. But I guess most of my viewers called analytics are between 18 and 30. Yeah, okay. But I'm rambling. I'm gonna end the stream now. So thank you all for coming. It's been a great time. Really enjoyed this. We've really nailed out some video ideas, and we've talked about record some fun. So yeah. So thank you all. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna end the broadcast now, and hope you guys all enjoyed it. Have a good one, guys, and hopefully video not this Monday coming, but next Monday.